Umi ne da etoso miensa. Afi empinu aduonu enan. Mame se abodom kwapa homiti aduonu emienu, aduonu enum. Na me manti dwumadie ne yede free neat 100.9 FM de bremo. Na me manti dwumadie de bremo, dwumadie mi amidi ho chia me yefre me ADAKABRI mudu osioma. Na co-character right in front of me here. Ohima Akuya every year. Na fei production. Panyini kwajo dame ado ena production isiri naso. We offer se Jerry ebo nechi edom. Ohima Akuya every year ya so na service emrante kwano emienu. Na technical production abna frima abankro. One Nana Yaosafo ada share say all social media handles ibia bekoso kama ede amayen na fe no technical production actually no engineers and so achu agbo worker otiakwa na jare na abuaje ada sankroma saremrane say sempro na fei facilities group no big solo and dada and Godfred Freddy Ubrana na fei yaw Sami Mapuna and DJ Bosco na fei so no Mills so ya salmane say tai omo ena omo so ehwe ama bibia ye kamade amayen na ene chicha kakra ewo ho bibia yakwa koduro chicha kakra ewo ho na fe yasan ahwe said the bokrata animu nsem no so yahwe bi na fe interview mienu bi enso ebeba na fe yasan atenase empenifu ebeba say Lawyer Pia Dankwa movement for change. Lawyer Pia Dankwa movement for change. Afra Franto Owaha. Ora Gilbert Omane of the New Patriotic Party. And also so Abwa Osonono. Nafe Harrison Abba. Also National Democratic Congress. Na also so Chiniye Ebeba Hasin. Tigusunati neat 100.9 FM na ehu. Aymakuya.
Wo fa ADAKABRI.
My dear, now what you saying?
Nyankopon adom me ho ye. Bibia ye boko na me pa cho wo fa wonso e.
Right. Ye ho aye. Na ya na hwese risk na ya na ekomu no. I feel the risk no ya unbearable kakra.
I see.
Aye N6. Ghana. National Route 6. A free and Krahase Bamin Kruma Secretary. Adi Etchem Ewo Achimota. Uchem Ewo Taifa. Junction so. Etchem War of Anko. Adiko Pukiase. Amasamai. Aye Atrebuana. New Afutu. Aye Quaf Krum. Ade eko pampan so
ende mente krada ba me nim ba bia onam
teacher mante na esuboy na subua no na suhum nifio amenako
ni a hye obi
apedwan kwanta enkronso akoko Asafo Brimso Esutem Insu apem so
Mayira
Osino
oh ti say we do osino nti wabubo free circle ama say edu
ase Adi akwasa amantamfoi akọ anyinam
go to us
atwam akọ enyirese
okay
ade akọ sechere
Offer.
Edi akọ eye new jejeti. Akọ eye asuoso. Abetinsu. Jejeti nkwanta. 95. Any 96. 95 and 96.
97 kahwana.
Free to the next and Catherine Klein Airco, Kumasia. Ma 95, any ma 96. And the honor Aquana number 1. Aqua or not number 2.
Hey, Aquana.
Aqua or not.
Ampa.
Tianum can Kawanda. It's Aqua or not. 95 and 96.
Okay.
So, now what they call a year in Sabah, at the Aqua Framwase, a year Nanchia, at the Aqua Asuna, at the Aqua Shidium. So,
is it over him and you do it?
A Shidium,
I don't know what he
Fudwa. So, at the Aqua Nadia so.
My ear.
Edi akọ breku.
Oh, okay.
Edi akọ danse. Edi akọ sankare. Edi akọ atwede. Edi akọ dwaso. Edi akọ yakwe. Edi akọ eye konongo.
Oh, okay.
Edi akọ odumase. Edi akọ eye ohene nkwanta. Eye bomfa nkwanta iso. No buam. Before the Akituam.
Okay.
So,
Offer.
Diapompo.
Offer wutre. Nya wutre denezi.
Kubase. Shit so.
Offer denezi.
Yeah, Nessie say. National Route 6 no. That's why you 100. So I you.
Ayehu.
Nanu fiada.
Okay.
Anaju do mienu.
Anaju
do mienu.
12.
Midnight.
Is that 12?
Anaju do mienu. Na what ya
2 p.m.
Anaju do mienu.
Offer 12 ana. Offer my confused.
Can you imagine?
Offer cabro way.
Who will be a wo ya wo ayem. Atitu ayem. Abotna grand kwanta.
Offer.
About and cramping up the holidays in Crampia 9 years. What was me can bravo?
Offer. Do baako do me. So 13. Okay, so 12, right?
I can imagine.
So 12.
And I do mienu. And can you do me ya? Name so never sorry how much. As I was a matam for it. And I'm so do me no near do cania dear. At the na mean to so. Na men calling that door. Me free her do me no. At ya air course which I say, Oshie motor vehicles. At a crater. A ya tanker. Bosses. And num N6 no so na do.
And that's
12 na be see no. Now we share warm chese between Linda door any a yesu hum. Chese dear according dear ba.
Oh.
Just a congestion.
But that is the time I expect a coin to cry free.
You would say so.
12 day.
Just a 12 between drilling that door, just about 2:15, 2:30.
Okay. Wow.
Now, we share trucks are air connected the airba on the N6.
Oh, they about over 2 hours need a free.
2.5 hours now because we free. I'm say, me free. Can I say, just 10 minutes to midnight. And wow. A quarter past midnight, when I'm war, Joel Hassey, a Fiesta Royale. I just said, vehicles and num quanoso. They just say, track a articulate and a tanke and a buses. Now between 2 a.m. and about 4 a.m. No, Saturday Linda door at the bus no. Now, overnight coach services in Nina Ebakra. Omuna Sata no more Drusa area. Now, we shall say overnight services. Over one transport company, Kura VIP. Satan bears 100 buses, Kumasin and Count. overnight services na background.
Around
between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. no. Now omu nyina nam between Linda Door and Suhum.
Wow.
So you can imagine the gravity of congestion e wo kwan so. Na a single lane and a tutuo.
Wow. Wow.
Now we drew a year Osino ho. Ahumachin just about 1:30 eba 2 ya no. Osino. A year nipa miensa almost small car mu. A horse so spot to swab ho. Ahwemu na free Osino de kwa nkase and asamantam fo no. Brantia ba ko ne maami no. Akwaje ni. And yet small car mu. Overtaking of your parents saying aka ekrebundi saying a trailer. And suddenly bus ni be pieso. Bus ni pieso na bus driver na coach operator no. We see from no. Still car ketwa no panic. When Timmy ni baby no die na anko. And ono so esan pini say you go di bus ni nim. Head on collision nipa miensa. Na.
Oh. Wow.
It you work sport to be udro sino sport to be or honom there's a boss so papa. Otra a paradise walk on our left. That spot no boss so papa. Work on nipa just onya galam say who's kakra no e hwan no bekwa kwagina
wo fa we ya se
am bekwa de tete excavator so num kakra.
Oh wow.
So now a nipa miensa young like there's a congestion walk on so no.
Now what for say me there I don't committee peace news no more can. What is happening? Is it that I'm on fire and doing what
there's even Rose Minister Onyano she select committee on Rose ya were a nipa base 20 was select committee on Rose Parliament and as if that is not enough. As if that is not as if that is not enough. And run a Jomeba and so bears at 10 p.m. And I'm bedroom new afutu just before a year your friend is saying and some junction. Now ube share a so frown. Just say and so tata na oh ratty. Na STC JS 701522. Just like onim se na mananum wa no the bass ni wura mananum. And na ne a your friend say a tuano as no eco see boaso and STC ni swimming ties ni twa ho
so swimming
yes now and run sana dwono and na hunu the attitude of the Ghanaian and so ni tata house how truck bia so duru ha ka bia duru ha passenger for na free bus no STC driver he was a lone ranger he did very well and we have for so be boa yen ema tese kwan fa so a anse na STC bus no yetimi ye na baby agina no ansuo na tata ho no ehwan no obi abeso de ne ka befa ebe bunso gu passenger for no articulated dru ha mema wo bells minibi no atwam dama tese nobody was willing to help a fellow Ghanaian. Gina hodom no na nyame adom menya eye VIP buses ni bi egina wo mo say okay mo begina mo akono munyina mo munyina mo nko na busa ho say e die pa na timiama creator yaka creator CRATER creator ana atu wo kwan finfin ana asuo fran volta no e daso sa ana abo awurade.
The other dynamic wofa bibi say nanka utimi nanka we you take a photo and a video.
Gentleman ba kuso o video STC nam se mpane so mo video.
Ensure form ho ensure I mean the
oh me just say we no enya dene eno an say me frɛ eye Kwabena Prince o mesene na yemfa UTV camera kokɔhwɛ between eye new afutuo de ban some na and some junction no kra no opposite friend say blue skies no just a whole river tunnel and that ho one more do mani akire kumase kwan so enu nti this a ofa bypass bi and na wo de akwa
ofa mobo okay mobo because you start say you can't say we ngene ya can I don't know what is happening and I also don't understand why as obi am person obey nani ma kire ye de ekoso and why the situation is like that.
A story be no mo say e kwan na ye stalled. Yenye scammer contractor no na wo pe obi kura busa ne say eye no kure te kwan na ye stalled yenye scammer contractor the contractor no wa free hwa na
wow
And no down what you want to know. And they were not pan warper, even select committee. Ne ye pe MP because say, oh, Musa sensu or parliament in my.
Well, if I say,
that's a who pe ebusa asensu or nimwa. What they to the name of minister, dear young minister, dear, and I dear Bonabaqua Yafa. Wunya asenso no a enti wunya select committee on roads anya wo bia musano say on the floor of parliament no ye musa say e die na e fa sa kwan no
it is a major road it's not supposed to be so crowded.
A national route 6 central corridor road.
I'm surprised.
National route 6 central corridor road.
Well, for some same way there me see last week crowd na peace news me take a move. No more can once. I don't get it.
Hey,
I'm unable to. Me say no. Matty the all can I say, but me tell you why I say baby by a king in the silence. I don't get it. I don't know. Be a ding. That's what
the MPB Accra Musa said. I'm from Concord to MP name mine.
I say more.
I'm from to Rose Minister and him say, what is the status of that road?
I ask them because there is no alternative road.
Now, what's our name? Saquano, Suan, no uncle, between a Sound Junction. Adiba, Achimota has a mere common. Approach it was the barrier. What the barrier yet? What the barrier yet? Obia to Tomu. To Tomwa and approach for Wujina, sound and footro wemu, Ejina Sacha wemu, Wujina Hoy Yetting.
Wafa,
near Sasa lighting ting.
Wafa, who drew or no? Who do a police in then or now?
Okuta touch and say, who's a free fissy, Eba, who do Pokiasi, a drew Pampanosono, and just approach it was a
Ejina Ho.
Wujina Hoy Yetting.
Amonia here so.
And put me in static. Ne bia bibi ne ya pick signal bia ya draw my attention if you say that time no na enkrofo akolodu aduane akolodu and atosodie e dey bank
omo dey bank no mbegina ho a wofa
aba pere na me fere no na ka ne so abrobe odiri wa no ma na o chi ano ana e twam na am si we ebufu sem we because Ghana allow aduane na wode ma no sa ba beton no e hwan ye sa gina ya salite tin na de oso aduane ne ba no oduru ho a wa ye aduane ne bi e say ye kwadu
say ye abrobe say ye banche omo jeje nsabo de say akazi police fata de tuntum tu hia na che na de a o bonansa nti omo jeje nsabo de na nsabo de so de kamini mefia kumem enye ohye. Oh, there be.
Indiscipline on our roads.
Yeah.
Now, what me to Tomness acquire and your papa no. Now, I'm not just sano. If you don't know, make on 1 a.m. No, proceed need Gina 1 moment to barrier. 1 a.m. to barrier. Near Sansa line, right? I don't know, but cruise back after how much time or when I was on and just one coming here. Just 1 a.m. Utrama samai udina mfutrum wonna mkwan na ye na enye no so atutuo no so na watu barrier ho ne akosan la ne yetwen no ne akosan la ne yetwen no
ombisa hwe enye se bibia asi nothing has happened do one na ye officer outing won sa na na wo ko no
na so ni se wonna mkwan fon so na
ye
delay wasaka ho.
It is very annoying.
Amasama ni no ye pese pokuasi ni no na baba wa fe na mse na why ya to aba begina ha say sesebra ha say asembenya asembenya why na suma no na sa na dwo no ye nantim eti wo ye ne say ana wo ye nden wo ye ne say ana ye nden
wofa asema very serious because I don't understand. You started kan na make an enye I don't obi an kan hwe I don't know I feel like as obi adwane bi say I can't imagine saying penny for into omonte. They be by ye. And same be by ye king into omonte. Omati. If there is any problem, accountability. Yeah, na demo ya mamu sa power na mo wash no. And if there is anything, you should get back to your people and tell us. Ebi esike anymore. Ebi a challenge be say na ye encounter. And bear with us. Ana bibi. But you can't keep quiet. As obi e dodge. Obi an person obe kan he. You people are accountable to us. Na ekojina wiem so lie. the ordinary Ghanaian and the kojina wiemu SD like koto aba edema woma baby a wo wedu all the appointments I will make a contract Adama White is because the ordinary Ghanaian has come to vote you into power. So you are accountable to us.
Well, we drew I konongo na konongo traffic na need free Kumasi bano konachia twemu konongo commercial bank wo konachi twemu ahia yam ade ko odumase na ya sunlight tin na still enipa timi yifa ho na wo fo no ajom de ombu abufu wo fo no wodi hia articulator ya wo so cement de ko bomfa kwanta na articulator no etifa nchen nyame nko be munato akoye otutu chinchinga oyi wo no
oni wo
na ti Land Cruiser enkomunipa
hey asemo
na wa yafa ho ama wodi hia articulator no so cement no na articulator that si form na wo anti minister of way MP fue mon kasa chama driver for ne say mo fa plane no a driver ne ba mo nya dia wo ya no muntimi kasa nchira mo driver for no what for plane driver ne de car ne ba and nam say wo ni hye muntino na you beto say ya san la konango no ya fa ho na to create ba no di hia no
on this so
and because me nima de kure na abamu a obi of di hia ko nim say
obetwe that is the thing obetwe
na betwe
ebiso aka na ekura wo no
e di kwa ko hia 45 tonner
eno de say nko ne bewu
assuagement free you find saying a grace 45 tonner assuagement free tema e di ko bomfa yes sir and the wo no to the Mr. Minister for Mr. MP for mon kasa che mo driver for ne say mo musi na mo fa plane no a o mo de ba o mo nya wo no akwa so
o mo kra mo timu bi o mo kra timu bi a sa wo kwa kofa o plane na free ntem discipline free ntem na kodru ho ntem nya kwan so na obehunu no bi a won kasa MP no kwa o ti car ni mu bi a wo ne sen obi anwu wo de nka ambulance bi a fire service bi ti say ama ti say wo ti kra wo mu
and
really what's here
adwene wo mu tirimunti wo need me fa ice cube ice cube kase ya kan ice block wi
no
wa chichire enti wo ase wo ama ne kwan a na watimi ato
ice block no de abọ
na wato de akobo ba se so nipa 35
na wato abom
windscreen na windscreen na
pai
enti sanka driver ni lose control of the coach nipa 35 na team na wo ni nti
emfa ne ho enfane ho
one of these days no at the greater for any tank for the beshia wa mu
because it is very true because ebo ana wushia no ntimi nya ho hwe ya obeja no because Land Cruiser ne sa kan dia wo Land Cruiser no waso be hye articulator ne wo Land Cruiser no waso be hye so wo hunu na yo o maintain na de opese o ye na waye na de opese wo ye na waye it is so bad it is very very bad what was the idea behind saying for sirens near the NCC Kamu? She say you are abusing it. We are just abusing it. We are abusing. Obianka Hinchobia. Na penny wine. And you're on penny na no ye. Penny wine.
Me free.
Ebi okra eyi bi na woko.
Me free Samantha. To asa akwadwo so. Wo ebi ba. Na
Yentwe fa yenkose nwuram.
How many times can the president and the vice crown or mudi wo kutwam ko baby? And then wo bia de bia hye kamu. Ta futa bia kwa na wo bi shi.
Wo shem. Now udi mo pa na fa udi ma ne de pa. Ewurade. Na wankasa wo fa bia wa bre wa ko program. Na ka ni jisu na udi no wa de dem wo ho. Na che say obi e to togo bi e to go we tigu na wo koya 30 minutes wo fita card na we dun cry. Na obi e cha 7 hours of crying so.
Na on risk
me catch wo.
And the Japan omudru a very say and some Korea to adu agiri and also munsi no na oroba ye kakra ba.
Asemo na udi musa na de mum but
e kwan ne ye. And when you enough space, I want it.
Enti na ya omude motophone di animu no. Nti wo hwa cars, wo se motophone no. Omo animu pa ansa na we ka ne say we was Baba. Baba na so me wa so nyame adaro ma.
Wankasa si wo tirim.
Papa, me ho cry. I ask them all. And to my motophone di animu, and to motophone a big cram fia, a big cram suit said I work and a bim sucla block, a crab block. And you know, we ye a boom crab boar, a boar. Almost back trouble. And so a sachet what an almost 2 bang. No more dear boss, ye are not carno. But time I will be do honor.
Okuta over 30 passengers. Now 2 boy glass and boy and
lose controller. What 30 people, 30 plus people. What 2 now wako ufie no you know Marco Didi ada.
Security number. It do the security number. You're changing frequently, so it's difficult to ascertain. Say a way and I say way.
Wafa indisciplined doors Ghana however me person me bobo sources na me hu baby I say MP4 edan yesi amon wan ka MP4 nya wo so omotena ho sei na nkasa no pa parliament omokwaya abase obi ani ho empena for side chicks and attitude girls me bo mu me girls na sisi ho wafa omo de dan no ama omo mpena for side chicks for no ana omo so ntom ne hanu makosho baako 2 hours on me pieko na yire to what to constitution or the dan no e de amane girl nti ho girl not one ontua he ana baby no so MP na se wasan akotena na wasan bo abanka e du yesika don't like so the rich is always getting richer the poor is always getting poorer.
Chicha where you chicha.
Chicha. What I'm telling you, me say me fu
contempt of privileges of parliament.
Wafa enya kra me say me ankasa me twam na echam jina and am bomodin see ye and I bomb information me dan me nam dan hey
side chick no mutinemu how many years and then
what by side chick as long as you are the side chick you are okay and as long as we are side chick na papa no so you MP no exactly
na how is it like to be a side chick na nipa krosi kasa
what I know dey me expensive be the baby here because me am dwen say yen fa ne say me as a normal person say me am we ska kakra me show my account tell me who 500 Ghana bo me ni jiji na me na aka 85 na bibi ye me exactly into the same way obe hu say sisi me ti he ya e bia me tu rent me tu away na say nka papa bi MP no de ma si dan e bi mu yen fa say 8 years ya 8 years be so na me nya kura ma na wale me kura ma me ko ahen kura 8 years no mi ametu wofa omo tutu every dan mo obi ani ho and then mom 2 hours on my show no moko and I say hey obunso free can you free those areas you num light you enso si so aban boss aka no e dey am penafo we are no baby or santi necessary no our driver our gate man our police our way that was yes tua yeah bro
I'm got just a rank and file for the
rank and file what fine hey yo and na me come
we are Ghana ni na so ho chiro sa no
many abri me bia me count e bia me ye e bia nka
na so kwa tena wo ni bi mu da
what fa me so
dia no
me nka wo he
Richard Mensa say on Facebook I me my Facebook for na sa why oh double backup I say aden and na just say or radio no on there's a Facebook and also work engineer for now working around the clock na asem na ahomete papa asem ahomete asa eti ya nya select committee on roads ni bia
wofa ya try egusu kra try
na ti dia pa na ewi o
wofa enti me no me ye nim but me dwen say say bibi koso because genuinely if nothing is happening now anka it won't be a problem say obi abeka cha Ghana for say na a problem I encounter na challenge say na bibi say na ye wom anka nya den until I can't even imagine what is happening. I really can't because mentia
it's obi adwene no hu bi sa
obi na adwe ho edwuma we ya wuyi obi na adwe ho obi say adwe ho na mpeka say na edwuma bo ho no me nkofa nto ho so that is the thing because edwuma bia ne ho mra umpe eniama bi say dia you can't serve people, you can't lead people because ye wo ho kwan bia say ye nti bibia say ye bisa we have every right to ask aden
Asampe ni o.
Wo fa e mobo. Enya na eti Ghana han so ebi mu feel na ebi mu bleed.
Sa?
Ghana enya na eti ekwan enya na enam so. Enso ebi mu feel and ebi mu bleed. And it's not fair. Oh.
Hey, tianya den.
Wo fa enya den. Ayi ena obi kan so de ne kra ebo afro ye de obeye ne mreso a obekọ. Oye de obetimi aye no dad no makan ye. Oso de ne kra abo afode oye de obetimi aye ne mreso a obekọ. Enti enye sisi eno ana ewom anko normal levels na.
Sa?
Se wo fe na otie ya wo ka sei. Se wo de obetimi na wuye. Umreso honko. Wo kanga na ya mfa. Umreso a obekọ.
Oh, so aka bi.
Eno ano no. De obetimi aye. Ena wuguso a wuye ya nka wo pe obi kra ama na be kasa se den na esie. Unyo obi a. Enti wo kaka na ya mfa. Emre no so a wo bekọ. Nipa no so ono so te ho na ono so mfa na otin ba bia we yi nani no. Ono so mre so a obekọ. Enya ye nchebo. Nti sa na tie.
Enti na UTV carried the story. Or say Ofanko and some road construction in limbo. As court case, others delay completion. It is a court case, the same situation. And a year bypass for Konongo, and also almost three from Crofum, constitution, cross, phobia, said the year Maya Juma, a compensation promptly. Compensation in Corso, and also a year, mammy, for a year, a queer young penny, internet yet nenamo. They say, and it's a court case, and I just say, Sakwan we say, when a cocoa trade we are wet baby, ufri pokiase Festus, Adequama Samano, and when you could try the better wine. A quabna prince, Mumfra quabna prince, mammy. Young Fakwan so we are. Young Fakwan so we are.
Okocha baby FNO.
A baby, I just say, oh, yeah, at me a level hockacra between Festus to a fissy. A hundred just work like a crano. Hey, Grobuna Manipao. Contractor was saying. Contractor saying. Say, construction in limbo. As court case, others delay completion. Court case, by Munkami and Tibi. Yeah, then I say, make us obisi cabin a ward here. Abna Frema. Obisi cabin a ward here. Namunyan Yamano, be a some cacrami at Tibia. I mean, we bit me at every year. You bit me at every year, say, some crowd, you know what you won't ask. They are actually within the right of way. The Tosumin pipes are MANSO among the whole corridor. So, say more MANSO, until we located that pipes and so. Another critical one, I hire swear, more now, more at dine work acquiring the moon. It was say you would not to me a quano, the Dudona de cocots. Into yes, we jama are buying on for more handles a particular area. My also, but still, I'll stand be 100 cases. That's so some high court or Mudi, Amasaman or Mudi, or Fancoso or Mudi. Maybe a more Mantema more high court na Ammonium. It's the Ghana told for legal team. Yes, and could be when a 7 o'clock, you know what I want to say. And will be na Democrat court at Yamaba. Who could say will be a dear, it's Yama contracting Yano compensation, no yam for 10 to it. Constitutional class to any kind of compensation man promptly. Na and Omodi Court, Omodi
obstacles are high this year. Bakuye high tension pylons na ye atofo from they are actually within the right of way. The Tosumin pipes are MANSO among more the whole corridor. So say more MANSO until more located that pipes and so. But another critical one I hire swear more now more at dine work acquiring the moon. It was say you bubu na to me a quano, the Dudona de cocots. Into yes, we jama are buying. I want to for more handles a particular area. My also, but still, I'll stand by 100 cases. That's all. Some high court or Mudi, Amasaman or Mudi, or Fancoso or Mudi. Maybe more Mantema more, Brona more high court na Ammonium a daily. It's the Ghana Highway Authority for legal team. Omono more see an more Ammonium from Edian or Cotamai. Say a back court case there, ye ni sa 2 minutes. And answer was say. omna intentem kakana e share say the kwan no e ma nkofo e bre no nka sa case na ifim den kaka e kwechi pa but enam say court cases no atweache e ka be more than almost 2 years ni I go so court ebi no mu say omo ntia say o say ebu omo adan ebi so omo so ebi wana asas no moto ye no omo to obi a yetu ane kadada di na started from 2003 tama president Kufuor amreso no omo ye kwan ne baako a omo tua omo ye bi omo no executive instrument na omo sa amending in 2005 a omo tua obi biara wo sa catchment area ne mu nti omo so omo ntia ase no omo no ye twe wo court yegusu ene DHF legal team na di hu wo court no
but your boy a humodin motorist and pedestrian sinina said the tibia no ye bebo modern I make sure say ya mom road A1 said that's come na ni na wo pia de papa ya wo bre nti eno ane sabotre ebebemu
space ni problem no space ni bi ni say dan sisi ho ese say ye kan ho asem na obubu otenya ne ho yendumi nkobubu ndi bebre ewo corridor no 17 kilometers no bengum ni nifa kwan ni bi ni ebi si kwan ni bi say electricity eno so ewo space ni eno so ese say wi fi ho na take process ya on say electricity for any contractor e dia man na subcontractor on oye no enso yeso wi na adwuma onwie de ni nyina na esisi kwan no na kwan ne de ya ready a ese kabri bi ensi kwan ka ba na no ka eye ne nam so a obe totin an se e kwan ne de ya ready we have footing way eye bufu footing pa eye bufu footing pa engineer Abdullah Mahama or your road engineer Mahama ya mwaha
Joseph.
Now what to saying? Actually, what to saying? Ooh, a line also. Trying to reach engineer Mahama and try to meet me a reason back onto the line. Hello.
Metongo.
Now kasa moment. Okay, I feel the metonka. Now what to saying? 17 kilometer Pukuasi Fise up to New Afutu awo and some densu no so I didn't any fahu
Namincha de me o kwa na sibi. A 10 lane 5 in each direction starting from a 4 lane AP of Anko Udu Festosa Omutia there's going to be a 2 at that side but a 7 lane in each approach. So after the 2 that's where you have to decide if the walk throttle lane and the service lane and I say you'll be in the main express road which is 3 lane. From first of the Konina Kudu in Sawan to that lane station they found a 5 lane stretch. Now there is the first component and who can say the railway bridge I walk of Anko in between of Anko and
John Teho
John Tay School. Second one here, just around the Eastwood Anaba Church, there's a pedestrian underpass. On a manian overhead, a near underpass. Right from that, you would come to the existing Pukwasi interchange. Pukwasi interchange, or the 40 interchange, Then when you finish leaving that interchange, then you move on to the continuation of the Anko and Sawan stretch of the highway. Now, after the toll booth section, you meet the footbridges. Udu and Amasaman Township, there's a 3-tier interchange, ground first and second. The ground one is the one that is taking you to Tapeman and beyond. And the same ground one, Utumi Sleepy, on the right. Now, we enter the Stadium Road. We almost affordable housing now. President Kokati saw about 8 months ago or something like that. So the ground one will lead you to that Stadium Road. Now, on the first DNA from the Amasaman left, that's if you are facing Kumasia, Amasaman left to Amasaman right, more the first tier also. That is, you are coming from the Amasaman Old Town to the Stadium Road. Now, the third tier, has a trumpet. That will lead you on the third lane to the Amasaman Town proper. From the trade junction. That can connect you to the Kaswa Road now. 2014 to 16 or so. Yeah, I think so. So if you focus na say otwa so kofa China more hono could do Obimana, you meet the first flyover. It is a old Kiss FM. Said omuye baku hono ma 7 there no. So as you are on top of it, there will be a junction hono. The runabout underneath, will serve those who have the service lane and those who want to connect back to Accra. Then from there you move to Media Kutuku Junction. There's another flyover which can, if you want to go to Media Kutuku Junction now, at Media Kutuku now, you will slip out of the main carriageway and be in the service lane. So you can initiate the runabout underneath the road and go to the left. Then the last of the interchanges, the Ewo Total Filling Station, Ewo in Sawam Junction.
Yes.
And now I say a underpass. Underpass as a Tantra there. So there's going to be a runabout at the top of the bridge. It's when you're coming from Sawam town, not a person who go towards Accra. Existing ground, you will initiate the runabout and go towards the blue sky towards Accra. And if you are coming from blue sky or another make it do blue, not a person who call in Sawam town. You slip onto the service lane so that you have a ramp to take you to a total filling station to take you to Sawam. Then after the underpass, there are two other facilities there. The first one is the axle load on the left. Sorry, on the right.
On the right, yes.
The you have the timber checkpoint, forestry checkpoint.
Also on the right, yeah.
On the right. Before you actually enter the main 5 carriageway, either on that's when you're approaching Accra from Dinsu Bridge, so. There are 10-foot bridges. Because of the nature of the road, nobody can cross the road because it's very wide. You go onto the footbridge so that you're able to transition to the other side of the bridge without any knockdowns or vehicular and human interference. It's just like they didn't wait for the Medina Adenta Sagana, I see, before demonstration before the construction of the footbridges were engaged or executed on the road. On this one, the various assemblies from Ganof, Amasaman, and Nsawam, and all the assemblymen on the corridor were given the proud notice of where the installation of the footbridge, number 8 footbridges, and they all made their contributions for the footbridges to be constructed. So that is the basic introduction of what we are doing on that particular stretch of the road.
Okay.
I know you come up with your questions on complaints and then we'll address them.
Questions. Stretch from New Afutu. Be a denso shell on the one.
Yeah.
Eba Atrebuana. Otherwise, and some junction.
Okay.
As at Enra, even coaches, buses, STC bus back or car honoma as the Nuku see Bosso Emma na in Panajo 10 o'clock. What's happening? That stretch one, what's happening?
Right. So that stretch from Aputu, right? New Aputu, right?
Yes.
For the total filling station.
Yeah.
Now there was this culvert that has been completed. if you are when you comment now, we said there's a steel structure being constructed on the right hand side. If you are total filling station bound, I witnessed that that depression that as you are talking about. I think this morning. So I've taken even pictures and I've sent to the contractor to move in to repair those places when they have what we call optimum. The place is very saturated now because of the rain. So I've told them say they should be able to cordon off that area, and immediately they have optimum now. They should go in and repair that side. Two, one at that junction, one at Aputu Deno, in the direction of Kumasi.
And the direction of Kumasi, and at the Americans, the direction of Accra.
That's right. And I took notice of it around 10 o'clock this morning, and I've already sent pictures according to the subcontractors to quickly go in when the gravel gets to optimum. See, and I saturated, you can't work on it, but they have to cordon off the place so that nobody will come and enter that particular stretch once there's water in that area.
But engineer, just a crab bound crown, which are then soon we are exit from the asphalt no onto baby a more year human crown. A move what do as asphalt no was slow and major depression now. One to
last call better. Yes, that it's just the same as the opposite place, and just on the right hand side. You see that the Kumasi stretch, that's the same place you can see on the left hand side.
Exactly.
So that's the communique that we have communicated to the subcontractor to quickly move in there because they on my cover to and so what they did was that they need to have what we call to avoid differential settlement. They have to put them in layers so that the ground can settle well before they overlap it. But somebody who is coming has to get a warning information sign say there's a depression at this side so that the person doesn't come with the same speed. The people in and Minkasa Akutu for the last 2 months meeting, there was a challenge that the contractor raised. And they said when they put the steel and the metal post to ward off motorists and pedestrians alike now. Amajuna Yenuanoma Omo normal go to their scraps. I don't understand what kind of attitude we have collectively on the street. Say who say the scientists go and say information to deter people from maybe either moving to the left or the right. Why those who are buying from them, when they see that people are just mangling road signages and selling for them, and so one of the things that I've seen in the area, it has been complained at the meetings more than 3 months now. But the contractor has been asked, you cannot stop, it should continue. Once the people will do is, others are moving to bamboo. Bamboo needs to conquest ASEAN. But almost the steel, the steel people, they still come and take the steel out in the night and then use for their scalp. But we have to make sure that we find alternative ways to get the place resolved because
contractor no complaint independently you verify.
Yes, but in the last meeting, some of the people who were in the meeting actually substantiated the fact that they saw a lot of some of these diversion signs and information signs even at Atala. Atala around midyear and Krishna. And the next morning, all those information signs that were there, one of the the traffic management
young common idea me a particularize because
that's right.
Some now was a contractor and raise a concern. A community head was so happy about it. Say Omumrantiano enquire BBS and Inter say, do we have independent verification? Say ye the directional signs akusiwo na aluminium womb and na metal womb and yakutu to the scrapper na.
What I know from the meeting that I attended, the fact that those who are let's say in attendance, they will be the core members of the meeting, and those who are in attendance are opinions on the stretch, and they substantiated the fact that Omo will say contractor mounted platforms or what we call the information signs along the road. Then the next day, those things are missing, and obviously the contractor will not go and mount the thing there, and the night he will go and pick it for what was it like, or no, or that there we saw or the smoothing the traffic flow. Then the next morning, he comes to complain that people are taking those items on the road. Then we tell them to go back and install some of them. The next time, people complain that the contractor complains, people are still stealing it. Just this week, any Monday,
Yes.
just last week, Thursday, a car, a Kia, was impounded by some of the contractors' motorbikes, or the Amashada Piki motorbike drivers run the stretch to be able to identify some of these miscreants. In that aspect, with Yonoko Amatama police agency, they arrested some people on Thursday night. Omodi Kia, Abisiwa, Omodi signal post, it was not enough for them. They went ahead to carry all the iron rods now, contract and the HQ the Jumano. Omoludu or track ma, Omokoton. It took those motorbikes almost from end to end, around midnight to cause the arrest of the people. I think they said there were about 10 in number, but they want to arrest three people who, as I speak, I think if it's not this morning, they'll be arraigned before the Amataman High Court or Magistrate Court for alleged theft on the road. Time post and swarm, they have gone ahead to carry iron rods now, contract and the new JC barriers and the grains, to add. In fact, this one were bold. They brought the whole Kia.
But
like they are working.
At the end of
like they are working.
Baby, I have national interest in Team Busa for independent verification. What I will say, I'm engaging motorcyclists. So you're asking, say, how much would it cost us? Say, you bring some motorcyclist for the 1 night and patrol her and fire and mine because security of even contract and equipment in Krano is paramount.
Yes, and they have security. They have station security. And I was say because the stretch in the one. Let's say Oshama Saman bridge on ways here now. Let's say they have put about 3 security men to watch over that place in the night. When the person even turns maybe 100 meters away from him in the dark, even though there's some place there are a lot of illumination. If you don't get people to also be moving up and down, they may not be able to see exactly. Because I'm see and say me check out the next town. Remember no be afa over. Just like last week, so to say, there was a theft case of Anko where a black Toyota Camry came around the railway bridge and actually had an altercation with the security men, and then because they were armed, they were able to tie the security men at their hands at their back, and then attack a distressed Burkinabe car. This is also at the Ofanko police station, which is being investigated as I speak. That was last week Sunday, before the Thursday nearby. Omode Kiabisiwa Omolodi, all the reinforcement bars are Omode police in to meet you more. So I think some of the committee members along the stretch are helping the contractor in terms of Omoamo movement and community watchdog along to also augment the effort of because the contractor from beginning to end, and I think that the residents along the stretch are also helping the contractor in whichever way or form that they can offer some security or information to the contractor and the police along the corridor.
I think now said the what kind you say blue skies one more do blue honomono. Hey baby, highways for also no way bridge no I want. Hey, and you just river from Pao on the stretch towards Kumasi.
Yes.
And
they are going to cut that place almost another 5 meters down. That is where the vehicular underpass is going to start. What they have cut is just about 1.2 meters. If you look at the Accra bound, what they compare Kumasi bound now, it's about 1.2 meters. So they have about 3.8 meters they are going to cut more to be able to get the clearance between the total filling station height and then that the cutting area to be able to have the clearance to meet the international. They are going to go down what we have told the meeting last week was that if they cut the Kumasi stretch now, the two areas will be in more trouble. So the road diversion traffic management team has been tasked to see if they can divert the other side of the traffic towards the Kumasi stretch total filling station. There's this block factory area now. They are the ones who are restricting the movement around the area that we have the pond. Almost assassinate that honor and a dynasty home. They will not allow the contractor to demolish. Yet that land, our records, has been paid by government. But once we have over 100 cases at the court, you can't go and touch on the person's building because until the court clears the cases that have been sent to court, you can't touch someone. That's why we have a lot of outstanding buildings. I think in the region of about 100 cases at the court. Courts have not actually put finality to it. Into it, last week, some of the interviews we granted to Ghanaian Times, the request from the director was that they should be able to. We can't tell the court what they should do, but our plea is that
engineer, won't mean can't record the court in yet. By contractor there, who consulting engineer, who supervisor, baby, yet I'm name bear 1.5 years, a besanko bears at 3.5. I can't win.
Yeah.
On just a slip to the right, there's an old in some road in the hall. How bet me a call at the Aquacusi prison road. Was not turning left about total petrol station.
You can't turn the trailers. So what they have to do is that they have to make the place a bit more trouble. The saloon cars and the PCU cars can use that side, but not the trailers to go because we share junction or some junction a V shape. A trailer will never be able to turn. Otherwise, one trailer will just get stuck there, and that will be it. Because
precisely,
there's no widening distance.
As a man, wakano, and no, because on approach to sa area, honor, a year information sign be a NC Hawk. Enti a year cano, a Burkina Faso registered a car BF, na a red me, na, in fact, a 40-footer. And so soon onkuta master pin tinitini ntime abrane to no ewo ho ni nyina bomu baako eto no nko ano eye azos ne ye maako 6 ena animu ne maako miensa odru ho na ho ya v no yes almost 30 minutes ni gina ho twe no okonanim no abanachi na onim say he could have even managed it on the right wo ba bia ne nso ne taa no kra no ana okodi akire bi ekofa slip no so ana okoye no waka we and where is the information sign as our information ya wode man ye betimi a share na ya comply accordingly.
ADAKABRI, I'm not holding brief for the contractor management team, but if you talk about the Burkinabe track, I think so. Mini Nanaya Orchestra on Thursday or Thursday. The chair of Anko Edibedu Ukwase. Not trailer, Burkinabe, or let me say foreign track. Let me I shouldn't use one name. Not foreign track, Abeduho. Now what develop a fault. Now contractor the excavator, but say, I want to help to push your truck to park outside the road reservation, road right of way, so that the vehicles which are behind you, which are distressed, can move. Then the driver, who is a foreigner, says, "I won't park my car." You bring the police from Pokuase to come and, sanitize the system, and the gentleman stood his ground and said, "I can only repair my car on the road until 3 p.m. from morning." The gentleman is allowed to repair his car on the road at the expense of vehicles which are on in the traffic behind him. So those people on the stretch, can also be augmented. The others are augmented by the police. It aside the fact that you have even put adequate time for some of the vehicles to move in one transport. The foreigners are trying to act like they don't understand our language. If you get to the same Sapperman area now, have you seen what is happening at Sapperman? The trucks have now used the contractor clear the back of the retaining wall. Not Friday, not trailers back 6. Ako parking wall at their parking lot at the expense of people who are moving on the road. It takes only the police to come and affect that arrest because the contractor and yourself, me, the contractor or the spokesperson, cannot handle the menace of the drivers who act as if they don't understand the language in Ghana, and yet when you start to speak or say what police in here, they move their truck away. That area you are talking about here, I can assure you that as I just go to Amasama Yard, those are the few tackles that the director is going to have a meeting to be able to address them. But I just want to know that as you're using your medium, those who have been given the power to act or to help, they should try and help the contractor to work. Now, right now, I sent an image to one of your guys in the studio. I don't want to mention his name now because they was discussing the morning. Of Anko to Okwasi has been leveled and cleared.
I remember cars
are moving.
Right
now,
address baby challenges in the war and send my baby do baby one level up kakra. The first toss to a year fisi why you hold mojuma now who can and I say a contractor not the ne excavator baso baby push obi. I didn't intimate factor free towing on the 17-kilometer stretch, say obi break it down straight away, because Ajin Kotoku Road Safety Management Services truck usiwo, to whom Road Safety Management Services truck usiwo, Tesano Road Safety Management Services truck usiwo, up to 33 tons. I didn't and I am factor free towing. NC1 na me ain't easy in the event to say can be break it down.
ADAKABRI, when you look at the monthly meeting from last year January to this month June, it has been a constant call by the contractor and the consultant, and then the consultant and the DHA, the rep of the government, that the police who are present in the meeting is the Amasaman police and Sawan police and Ofanko police. But Amasaman police are the ones who normally can go. I think they are the divisional commander. And just about a week ago, the contractor reiterated that Omuhinya towing truck and that when there's a distress vehicle and they call the emergency towing room now, mostly they will call a towing truck from Kaswa, or they will call from the Dodoa Road. Ajin Kotoku, there's no stationed towing truck there. Possibly, sometime when you are going to Kumasi, maybe coincidentally, you meet the one at Suhum, like you are saying, around Club 44. But they are not permanent at the place. So if Stefan or Diano are readily available, when they call from the control room now, that shouldn't take the truck from Stefano more than 30 minutes to get to Ofanko to be able to deal with it. Because the National Highway Patrol team and then the assembly and the police in Amasaman have been notified every single month about the towing truck on the road. So, OTA, Nana Kessis news item on Friday and on Thursday, he also added his voice that the MTTD director, if he's listening to him now, they should make sure that if they cannot permanently put one on the stretcher, it should be at close proximity to the corridor, because that is one of the identified black spot areas as long as the construction is ongoing. Even before the construction of Anko, because of the gradient of the road, there are a lot of distress vehicles you see there. Now the contractor, or let me say the engineer, has reviewed the Ofanko stretcher. You don't go Ofanko bridge and cut down the bridge because they are bringing a retaining wall to come and support the Ofanko bridge so that you don't go down and then start to climb with the load that you'll be carrying. So from 5% slope, about 3.4% slope, acceptable to any truck that will be coming from Tema with a very heavy load to go across the Ofanko to Jonte.
Me make further enquiries with the Road Safety Management Services. Because I'm a bit surprised to say, because minim say, Bakusi, Tesano, Bakusi, Ajin Kotuku, and a Bakusi, Suhum, and a Bakusi Lindador, and a Bakusi Nkoko, and Nkoko, the Uchamwa, Ubakwa could do a year, Konongo, Eric Woho, Ibrahim Woho, Ufuri Woho. And I'm surprised to say, Yabaka see a fruit be Africa, swat, and a waban wababa baby. I'm in touch with the managing director, Alfred, and I'll check and then Chief Texan.
But on authority, Ajukutuku doesn't have a towing truck. I mean, who order?
And would I check it with operational commander, no, Chief Texan?
I'm so glad.
Because Kwasi for retired police command, and also so anyone a year, Juma, and a Chief Texan, and I am, because I was said now, 2 Saturdays ago, Kabi Buntumi, I was a year, John Tani Muhonum. Can you imagine, say, 3 a.m. and a quani see, na tow truck will be anyhow. Indeed, there was a little slip towards Kumaseno. I'll bet me afar directly in front of the John Tay School. Ekoya could do petrol station where there was just a small gutter beer, young for slaps and torso. Because of that, Yenina San Sayachi, and your son by a struggle, ya, Ebekuku Remoi, Ekuku C, a year Everest Hotel, Educo ACP, and Sunny Yetimiaba. 2 houses a Nanka tow truck be see a year petrol station, there was John Tenchen on the towards a Pukiasia. Coming in is at 3 a.m. Can you better go through such an ordeal?
It's not at all. And I'm saying that if you can do a follow check with the Amasaman Assembly and Amasaman Police Commander, they will tell you that because they are ever present in the contractors meeting, and they will tell you the request from GET, the request from ACON, the request from the mail every single month, including last week Tuesday, that they made the same request. Omunfa kind of thing that towing truck and at least back and walk corridor, so to be able to help when there's a slip, like you are saying, any car that either develops a fault or
okay, at a separate, yeah, there be just a kind of radio, so may try to make me a link you up with the managing director of Road Safety Management Services. Also between Circle and someone, almost deploy 8 trucks. 8 recovery trucks. Baby, 8 recovery trucks. No. Me make sure say ubetimi me link up no wetimi ni Alfred Akasa. Na ye hu baby trucks no esisi. Na ye telephone numbers of the truck because whom dey no binim say ofori osiwonom Linda Dodie Ibrahim usiwo Konongo ye pen say Eric usiwo and so Tessa no ha say gentleman tiamen kind dey no me because VIP nim omo numbers there adena and say a contractor no so no onya such numbers more especially you bet me a factor I recover free on that stretch 17 kilometers no will be break it down you recover the free to £1 na yentimi and recover scan as part of the contractual summer yetua then you nwanwa bia sa
but ADAKABRI me can say more trucks mo because the trucks and towing trucks, when the foreign truck, I shouldn't say a foreign truck, when the truck is distressed on the road, is it free?
No.
Okay.
And you're free. Obedi can crack your first 1,000 cedis as a year diesel. And sana or tree because there are 2 things, either obeto or obe recover. It is or recover is more expensive than so obeto. And you are looking at a minimum of 3,000 cedis per towing of up to 200 meters. So the kwakusi baby the amawo. Inti I would have thought say contractor ne benya a car pound to be a ye hunu say ye will tow trucks no esi so either carriageway. Na se bibi nia ye told ya kusi car pound honum. Who told you kusi wama no kanaka chen say after 5 days wa ama me fa ubeji ni sika say ya. What me dia no kura tuetua car pound na sa ase no e de bia tuetua tow truck no so e ho e ka no.
Yeah, and when they make that request now, I think say car pound, maybe we may not be able to get very bigger area, but the contractor is available on the road to be able to clear the right of way. Some of the areas can be used as impounding areas.
Yeah.
So when the car is towed now, depending on the topography of the land, even if it's kind of bit to my they'll park along the post of Anchor to town on the left, on the right, whatever ideal it is. Because last 2 weeks there, the team had to work in the night to bring an excavator to do some leveling for just because 2 trucks have also gotten stuck on the service lane and they couldn't move. And around 11 to almost 12 a.m., the gentlemen were, in fact, including one foreigner, were asked to make sure that the same street around the White House area was more trouble. And then when they're able to do that, and the next morning, can you imagine, say, some of the vehicles, I think that you have to sustain this your campaign, and that is a good thing for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the cars can get stuck on the road.
Mm-hmm.
You feel say car not say.
Mm-hmm.
So the car is parked there, and I have an engineer, one of my colleagues called Foster. He is the one in charge of the traffic on the road. Mm-hmm. The next morning, these guys will just hold the 4 gallon, go and buy fuel and put into their truck, and the car, they move the truck. And there's no mechanic who has come to work on the car. So, I mean, what kind of indiscipline is this? Can your car get stuck because of shortage of fuel, and you park there, a trailer? And the next morning, when people are so upset trying to get their way to, the person will come and open the engine and then pour water and pour fuel into the truck, and then the next minute the man will check then trap air because it brings about this air trap or whatever they call it. They bleed the car and they move their car away. Let them give you a true picture from Ofanko to White House. How these trucks are behaving on that stretch. You cannot arrest. The contractor cannot arrest. The contractor can only report to the police to take charge. And if I don't want to, the police at Amasaman and they're also helping so well. But if a policeman comes to a scene and pleads with a gentleman to move the car, and from 8 o'clock in the morning, it takes the man to repair his car and finish his car around 3 p.m. The expense of people who are struggling on a construction road, then I don't know what I can say.
Okay, answer. Remember a construction works between Pukuasi Festus and the Echo Fise Amasama Honomono. My young so say, is it possible that the 17-kilometer stretch, you bet me a single lane be a ya level so you Google so every hour. You bet me I can say you use honum as a temporary lay-by and as a temporary service road be until say main carriageway na contractor na no ubet me aye ho adwuma na
no o program na contractor na use na there are some activities that does not give, I mean, it doesn't give that opportunity for you to give a single lane in some areas and finish the other lane before you come on it. Let me give one example. Where you have extensive cutting. There was 10 lane and 10 meter length. 10 meter width, sorry. Now there was my identify say maybe two material. The land is unsuitable. So I have to go about 4 meters down to be able to stabilize the ground and bring it up. You can't do just about 5 meters before you do the other 5 meters because of the lapping. And you have to do the two at the same time. So in that case, you will leave the service lane and you concentrate on the main carriageway. When you are done, you can divert the traffic onto the main carriageway and you go back to the service lane and work. Number two, I just heard about the water issue. When you say the beauty of the material they have at the Ofanko to Sound Road, almost 250 katapo. And that material is so strong for this particular road. So the advantage is that the contractor was able to source for a very good material, which was the same material you have interchange, the car gravel works, Unfortunately for the team, there are 14 water bowsers, that's water tankers on the road, 14. From an otherwise 5 specified 14. But the maximum time of drying of water on the road because the soil is not clay, maximum is 35 to 40 minutes. Now. But the advantage is that it means you have a very good sub base and base that will solidify the road for the asphalt. But the dust is a problem. And now because of that, the initial 5 water bowsers was increased to 8 and has been increased to 14. And what the contractor decided to do is that because of the traveling time and the traffic that is on the road, we do Festus on the right. My impounding to back was here.
Anya river da.
And by my impounding it means that they have actually impounded. Say no, you don't just let the river flow. You have to impound to create a impounding area.
Okay.
Because if you leave the river to Liba, you can't get the volume you want to put the tracks.
Exactly.
So you impound the water. When you get to China Mall, there's a Goa filling station on the left.
Yes.
They have impounded water there, and the immediate right, they have impounded another one. Then when you get to Atala, around kilometer 4+3, that's around before we do some Samsam Junction, almost see stand pipe kesi or and so if Anqua do Blue. IBP also more important. That's the biggest on the project anyway. Why they have impounded the biggest? To lose more time, there are about 4 or 5 trucks which are always there to load. So they have impounded now. They have increased the impounding area so that 3 trucks are moving from Opankoa. They are only handling Opankoa to White House. The next one is from Festus to Amasaman. Then the next one at the Goa Filling Station, Omachemu to 2. The one on the left is working on that stretch from Stapperman to Satellite to Amasaman. Then the one on the right, and that's one you are facing Kumaseno, is working on that Stapperman stretch to Amasaman. Then the Atala one now we see Samsam Junction, and so Chenumba comedy back to the Satellite. So they have now increased the impounding areas. After December, there was no water. The water became very scarce. So we rather created a lot of wells where they can get water at a point to be able to draw, but the water was scanty. But in this time, in Shuna, they are actually widening those places. When they anticipate to get into the dry season, they shouldn't be having a challenge. But that time, Kampona, like a lot of the bitumen has started seeing or being witnessed on this because in the coming weeks, from Festus coming towards Amasaman, they will start to see the carriage to be having.
Engineer. As I mean, you didn't come out a solution for the issues. Now, if I can say at December, there was no water. Who nimu say you 12,000 cities contractors is here. Obey me to form up to 80 to 150 meters. You better go to Nsua. You better no Nsua forever. The contractor you might way you committee search funding 15,000 per into form up to 150 meters. Ain't me Nsua no find yourself you my way.
The water which was coming, it was dry. What I'm just saying is that the water that you were getting was scanty. Even in the dry season, the pump now we used to pump in the water about there's no water tank mechanized pump better than what they have now. They have a commercial pump of a 20 meter 20 cm diameter.
And just me just see the complaints, lamentations, be solutions. Now also know we a progressive person and now you're liberal. And you solution no because so you so cry you be pete kwan so no from 5 tankers and then you drew 14. Ninani as a result of you can. Otherwise, what disregarding the parties are stretching also. Now,
the program was not that one. I can't vouch for the material that came, but there was not like a disregard for the people that brought about.
It looked like that. It looked like that because the name of foot also. So it before say baby why ye Festus to a year no yamra a year White House. White House towards of Anchor and yetimi a tutu form one more me a people be on the left side, and your number for Nasiwana, yeah, the Ababe join the main carriageway now, free of Anchor, Airbatchmota. Tell us about what exactly is happening there.
No, that side is not going to have any work after that. It is just there are high tension posts in BC.
It's some fin was any ibinam the binam bunkum and no.
That's right. Into the ocean, they were all the Omotu Amana at ABP of Ancono. They are going to fill that place like a slope. As a Ufi, I meant an almost a slopey assassin. That place is not going to be part of the carriageway after they open the bridge to traffic.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a slope to protect. So those high tension posts are going to be there. They're going to be there forever. They are going to have a case around them. It will not affect the integrity of the high tension post. So there's a 4-lane on the main ocean ocean side of Toronto. Almost casted the last concrete for the bridge last week Saturday. They make out the railway bridge, If they are allowing it to cure for the 28 days, then they will put the gravel around it. When they are done with that, the cars will now move back onto the top there. But before we do to now contractor not started slopey and was side right there. They are okay like task force is here.
Yeah.
They are going to do the slope protection. So when you are at the top there, you won't have any issue like Charlie said, as there will be also on the emotion side because there will be crash barriers that will connect to the off-and-core bridge.
Inti Banisano. What about the other carriageway, towards Pukiasi Noah?
Yeah.
Are you going to have that elevation, we go over the railway fence and line, Anna?
No, you're not going to drive there. You are going to drive on the bridge.
What I'm saying is, you're free, baby. I can't want to say, any actually from Ofanko towards a year, John Tay, Kwaku descended at the Ako, a year Pukiasi interchange, And I mean, as a hit that to know, na a year trucks, Usani, a year Ofanko, no plan to Ofanko, who we are. I think that Obabe Climbo. That's a hilly place,
Sure.
We go over the railway crossing, and I mean, we say still I understand say we will climb it.
Yes, but in terms of say, the design a bar of Ofanko, so they are coming to taper into the Ofanko bridge in the ending of Ofanko bridge, So you not go that deep low again before you climb. But the slope has been improved. The cars will not come down to that extent before they climb up to go and use the top of the bridge.
Okay, because the entire Americans say, I hear that to know, Ghana for country creator and can say, the nature of your roads and into engage bottom gears, they are for Frodiaco. But now, breaking up for an answer foreigners, no. Omono Chayama, a bipono, a bonobo, and Sanawasha, say, wo ye, in 2 months and now. Oma kantina bedru eye konongo 3 lane no maka ho ubedru eye asubua no maka ho ubedru teacher mante no maka ho it is a way ye be ye ni say so a say yamani steep kakra enkonko ba say wo mu ni say de be ye gears ntem no omo san abetiaka
enye check it no okay let me show you this one say ofanko bridge na e wo so it will stand for ma as what afro.
Yes,
but this project is reversing the work to come and meet the Ofanko bridge. So you make it from 3 meters. Now you are doing about 1 meter.
Okay.
So you don't descend low before you climb.
Okay.
So the gradient has been greatly improved. So that with the speed of the Ofanko bridge in Sobano, you can reasonably go with the same speed onto the bridge or the railway bridge and then move. But don't say school anymore now. The service lane is rather at the top.
Yes.
So that you can connect to the John Taylor School, you connect to the Anaba Junction and the other areas are without. That's why you see that there's a retaining wall, the huge retaining wall, a separation between the service lane and then the main carriageway. It is under no circumstance will you see any tracker or a cassia on John Taylor School in that when they connect that side, to the traffic.
Yo. Na a service road no I want John Tay school anymore no. So small a route to be no directly to the wall of John Tay school no. Mubaya home baby and I say all shall use service lane at anymore no.
Oh yeah, we are all shall use the service lane. You see that there's a right turn to feed the community. FRIMPONG is the entire community, a school in the community.
Yeah.
So make it will be about PTA meeting. You have to be able to enter the school. So the Unam service lane now, you can have access to the school. You can have access to the if Sudanaba just have filling station. I don't know the name of the filling station. So any other reasonable junction, main road, FPD onto the road, the service lane would access it for people to move from the service lane to be able to.
So in effect, na mama Jonte school no there's a 5 meters be as
almost like 10 meters because a bigger school in the main road in the baby now. The junction should be wide enough to be able to say that I think that almost the key people about or below the amount or the key can be able to reasonably turn into the school.
Okay.
Until you don't do 5 meters, minimum is about 10 meters, 8 meters of width. Okay. So that the cars on back the inner lane before over 10 I initiated right turn. So you should be able to drive on the outer service lane and to be able to just move and then enter the community without actually taking the two carriageway. Because when you have the wider junction, that is to the essence of the wider junction.
Okay. Yane engineer Abdullah Mahama and Etwitwin Komo Efa 17 kilometer router fitting of Anchor Twemu Jonte Ekosi Pokuase interchange. Netra to after Pokuase interchange, you know. Every Pokuase Festus Twemu Fise Edeko Ankwa Dobro Ede Twemu Atwemuana and some junction Edukudru new afutu densu no so and didi nkomo se akoye ekwana ye no inconveniences no adoso and ye nyina didi nkomo ahwehwe solutions to such inconveniences and otherwise the good story you want to tell us from Fise to Pokuase Festus and now from Accra no you say from Festus to Fise. What is the positive about the main carriageway? Why you who be beer and then I pass the cosway?
No, now they have almost fairly at the channel, almost at the channel now. A failure to do the last layer, which is what we call the crash rock, before they start to put the asphalt on it. The contractor will be doing what we call the tar coat fire this week. And then when they get approval for the next stage, then the asphalt is going to be placed on the trial sections of the crash rock. And that means that when the asphalt into there means you have done with the first layer, then wait for the last layer, which is maybe within some months, you put on the second layer, and then that's about it. But the priority is to be able to finish the railway area as fast as you can. Because when you are doing the road, you're also supposed to be guided by the traffic volume. On the traffic volume that was calculated prior to the contract, a lot of the traffic, about almost like, let's say, 66,000 vehicles, now it feed onto the Ofanko and Kahom stretch, Before you get to satellite, about 65% of the traffic had been dissolved.
Exactly.
Yes. Share from what we call the origin destination survey now. You pick the origin, which is Ofanko. You look at Pokuase. If I'm getting 50,000 cars from Ofanko, how many cars was I getting at Pokuase? That means that I have to know the junctions now. How many of them exited onto the junction? I get to Stadium Junction. How many of them exit on the Stadium Junction? Then all the way to like in town. So about 60% plus of the traffic actually exited before they got to satellite. And so it means that if you're able to connect quickly the Ofanko to Pokuase stretch now, you have taken a lot of the congestions from Ofanko in between that Ofanko to Pokuase away. Because now they will now exit onto the ACP road. Those who are exiting onto the Awoshi road are gone. Then now you'll be having to do with a lot of the agri-load trucks which are moving towards the hinterland. And a few other saloon cars which are also going to exit around Amasaman and then beyond. So the priority is that if you're able to connect that place area, while lessen the bottleneck or the pressure on that particular area before you get to the next stage of the activities.
But so we take into consideration a bottleneck or amasaman, a beautiful and a trot for the omo ya. Is it not a case that says it me Emma uchem who a year of anko, equem upukiasi, equem ewo amasamaya, still an umbasanko converge, ewo be a side payment, ewo a year satellite, and
There are two bridges which are being done concurrently. Namincha the Ofanko the Stapeman Bridge, you know, Pugman Bridge, you know. We are Momo decking, we almost decking, no. And now the whole bridge, one started bridge in Tema, which will be able to do now the car. Because as for the concrete, it has to go through a certain month or weeks before you can even allow any load on it. If you look at mid-year and then Podumana, the Podumana is about almost like 95% complete of the bridge. And then mid-year is about almost 55% or so complete. So when they are done with the two areas now, before Amasama and Debabe connected to Podmandiano, now the Podman Bridge, you know, is already completed. So you can now be concentrating on the top of the Podman and the mid-year and Podman once you are working on the service lanes. So like that's the advice you normally get from the traffic management team, who are also constantly checking how to eliminate the bottlenecks or the traffic on the stretch. Amasama and DSCC, the contractor is facing some few challenges with the residents. And I'm sure that the video that you played would have eliminated on that one, that which is the compensation of some houses along the stretch is being discussed with the government representative. When the acceptance is, when they are finally agree on the terms now, then the contractor can fully activate the construction of the Amasaman 3-tier bridge. But that notwithstanding, you can see that if you're on the road, the one that the contractor can do without any litigation, he's actually on it. Acts are waiting for the final consent between the affected claimant and then the government for the second stage.
But do we know whether the contractor has been restrained by any court pertaining to litigation about compensation?
A lot.
Has the contractor been restrained by a court?
Yes, the people have gone to. That's what I said. They have about 100 cases still outstanding at the court.
Whilst the case is pending, has the contractor been restrained from performing the duties as the road contractor now?
Yes. So where you have contention, issues on contention, the contractor is no good. Like Festus. If you see the steps, that's where the toll booth is supposed to be. And then the design is supposed to be widened enough to be able to capture all the area for the construction of the toll, and then dovetail into the service lane and the main carriageway. As long as there's an injunction on that side pending finality to the court, the contractor is working, isolating that place. It means he cannot have full control of that area to work. Similar to other ones, some of the filling stations along the corridor are almost courts, and other individual homes are almost more courts. And that's warehouse near factories. We do Hebron now. We left hand side of Hebron. If you are commercial now, in between Hebron, Media and Hebron, you see some green structures on your left. They are all in court. And once the contractor is there, so the contractor will jump and go and continue some work somewhere. Meanwhile, it would have been ideal for him to connect those places. But when he's restrained by court now, he has to wait until he gets finality to the court judgment or court sentences. And now the GHA legal team is the one who representing the contract, because they are the client representative. The legal team is actively engaging in the three high courts, that is Ofanko, Amasaman, and Nsawam. It's more in between Ofanko and Nsawam stretch, or more within Nsawam catchment area. They have gone to court in Nsawam. Those who are around Ofanko, or more from Hebron, Eba, Amasaman, they have sued at the Amasaman High Court, and then the other one from Amasaman towards off and call respectively.
Now, I would have thought that the constitution director says, OGOB, a Japadia me the year or minor Juma. Tria, Nimpatasika, a farmer, use the word promptly. Na, see a badge near Passia year Juma, Nessika Semono, I hear BB or Honum, nothing a highways lawyer for near Quania. Now, Osha impact assessment on roadworks and also so just it impacts negatively on residents of the area.
Would that prejudice to the outcome or whatever at the court? And this is a lot of the ones that are the 100 cases, and now one are buying air compensate in 2003 to 2005. As well, President Kufuor's administration, there was a road that was constructed. So the government decided that
Chinese if one number and some
the concessionary loan.
Yes.
Right. So that the government by executive instruments, executive instruments, from Accra Circle all the way through Amasaman in Sawam, Bunso, more there's a village, I forgot the name of the town, all the way to Ejiso in Kumasi. Government has acquired the 90-meter reservation, even the right of way. Now, sadly, some of the information we have in our office. And I buying in 2005. But I never say I buying you so quite in Fanya Jumano. Said Papa to Film, and I be maintain. And I'm saying, some better me about Pioneer of Bonintino. My thoughts as now. Also, unfortunately for you, one way will search, and you put up a factory.
You can a buyer beware. The buyer beware, no, not adverse, one and
Thank you. So a lot of the cases, the contractor and the government is winning the cases because of availability of documents. So they don't say for the near joining near post some of them they are mini lawyer, and I go down like lawyer. So some of them, as frustrating as they are, the contractors or the government feel that this is the right of way they have acquired. And so some of them, for me, I don't know why it is still being linked on in the court. But there's those that we have won, when the government was able to do counter evidence with the information available to them. The cases did not drag to a certain extent. But once the lawyer today, was a
technicality to be
join there was someone documented in appearance just buying time and frustrating the system. It's there. I mean, the lawyers need a mini lawyer, but that's why the way without prejudice. So if there were more than 600 houses that had been demolished, and then over 85% didn't have a case with in court, it means that the few litigants are the ones who are actually dragging the government, maybe based on some documents that maybe it's unavailable to the government or vice versa. So a lot of houses that we demolished on court, they were quashed because the evidence adduced by the legal team, it stood. And so this is so no, they are buying air top from the because area now. They are buying air tunnel on finance will be done here. He's now negotiating with the people to be able to pay and then allow the consultants to go. And so a bank will be there. If you now share compensation across the globe now, you go and measure the building that is which is in the right of way. You let the valuers come and value the building, and then you advance some money to the affected claimant to relocate. You give the person ample time to relocate before you demolish the building, pending the final payment from the land valuation board. So that should be department. They have a name. The valuation board. Who they are by law. They are the only people who are supposed to certify land and buildings in the country when there's any dispute or litigation. So they will do the final the assessment, and the government will pay the outstanding payment to the affected claimants along the corridors.
Yo, young share say at the baby abacosunte, outstanding issue, me no be sure can once a more bringing in the 2 trucks no sir, a baby boy no. Na yet me ashe, na fe so no. amana na deda hɔ no
Sure.
contractor no bɛhwɛ afele di ama
When I come back, my main people is one say, "Oh, Kumasi, one of Uso Pangano Kumasi, one say, contractor na footbridges be our right on your left, Jenny."
yes
It's because of the high tension post now our left now. Omunya full relocation here because the contractor is waiting for ECD to be able to terminate power at a point so that the contractor can logically launch or what we call migrate the poles onto the lines onto the new panels now you're installing. So these are the few things that contractor and also always as complaints are is being addressed from the consultant to the ECD in Accra.
yo yɛbɛde wase paa na daakye bia so yɛahwɛ sɛ yɛ ne yɛ ahoboase yɛbɛyɛ kwan a yɛ na yɛn anticipate ɛyɛ saa compensations yɛ itimi ma delays ɛbɛn because hwɛ 15 kilometer bypass a yɛyɛ ɛwɔ Konongo yɛ akɔe to ɔhene nkwanta just under 40% complete because farmers are complaining of lack of compensation for them. So two busan say the time adwene say be bypass no yam foresee say you be to compensation na
say this is not the first time share me at least my ebru kwan from Madenta kudu ebru ko Ekropong my be Sawam bypass my Sawam town road my Sugago Park Kachi road with some team. You see, these are things that it's always there. It's sometimes you see it's the amount of you're crying if it's not only a foreign funded money, the government cannot have the full money before they will start. What they normally do is that they create an account and I think they have their projects. Say, okay, if we are taking X taxes from maybe X consignment, and we are putting X amount of money into this account we'll be able to raise this money for this road. But they will not sit down and finish before. But like I are saying, ideally, you can decide to do the compensation of the whole structure and the place before you start. Sometimes the compensation of the new road, is more than maybe 70% of the contract sum. I leave it here.
And leave it there. Now, all kinds of from Kitase to Mamfe, excessive traffic. To you bet me who be
Kitase to Mamfe. Traffic.
Almost a traffic. The minimum a year no said dear Benyon.
David. ADAKABRI. We started in 2007 December. From 2004 to 2007 from Pantine Junction. Oyarefa, Ayimensa, Eduase, Etase to Jankama. Ekudu Ebri, Eko Asherase, Obosumase, Tutu, Mampon, Abuteti to Amanoko to Manzaran about. The road has never been trafficked. The only time you see traffic is on a Saturday afternoon around 4 o'clock when sometimes people decide to use their sirens and then create bottleneck on the road. Otherwise, if everybody decides, say, you have a corner, say the corner here in India, there's no traffic. Let me give one of the typical reasons why there's traffic on that road. Itase town, Jankama town, Omuye Yena, they park their cars on the street. That road can never be trafficked in the next 10, 15 years from now. And that one is based on experience. If you want to ask any engineer on the road, say, on any ideal day, if they're having funerals and they are doing the funerals within the town and they are not actually parking on the stretch of the road, what happens on the road? Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
They just say, they should learn how to share the road judiciously.
Yes, especially ADAKABRI Kitase. When Kitase is doing funeral, your bus stop or Kitase Honomo, they take the bus stop and they park their cars there. Now the cars which are also coming passengers, they now come in the road and offload their passengers in the road now. They bring a total closure to the road until the people are able to be offloaded or they disembark before the trucks will move. And that happens only some Saturdays around 4 o'clock to like 6:37. And every Saturday, but you see that problem there. But if there's no any bigger funeral in the town now, the road is as smooth as you can find it.
Right. Engineer Abdullah Mahama, you better in the next 48 hours. And Yatuaso, outside of the public radio engagement.
That's it. Let me show.
Engineer Abdullah Mahama, or how any atia or my ma ekomu on the road reconstruction, a free of anchor, etwem jontai na in between no pokuase interchange abeshim na pe di free pokuase Festus edekwa kodru ensam junction no so otherwise atwede buana edeko new afutu ahon komo ne yedie abusa ahon se de ne yeye empanifo so atena se lawyer Pia Dankwa movement for change afrafranto wasoma ne candidate ewo Kufudia de ekoso Kufudia no de be man Harrison Abba of the National Democratic Congress ono so chineye eso Abba betnase. And these are the words of the minority caucus in Parliament House. The minority caucus no saying they brought in a press statement. I say NDC minority kicks against opaque 5G spectrum deal. The minority caucus in Parliament has noted with grave concern the decision by the Akufo-Addo/Bawumia government to give away Ghana's 5G spectrum to a shadowy entity, Next Gen Infraco Company Limited, for the next 10 to 15 years. Under this deal, NetGen Infraco Limited has been given the exclusive right to build, own, and operate the entire 5G infrastructure network across the country for the use of all mobile network operators, internet service providers, and other interested parties. It is instructive to note that executive approval was granted by President Akufo-Addo for this sweetheart deal on August 22, 2023, barely 1 week after the company's incorporation on August 16, 2023. This was done through a non-transparent arrangement without any competitive process whatsoever. After a preliminary study of the processes leading to this opaque transaction, the minority caucus takes the view that the Next Gen Infraco 5G deal is inimical to the national interest for the following reasons. 1. Lack of money, lack of value for money. A conservative analysis shows that the state could have generated up to 400 million to 500 million USD upfront if the government had opted for a more competitive process. This revenue could have been channeled into critical development projects in this country in this time of economic bankruptcy and excruciating hardship. Sadly, the corrupt Akufo-Addo/Bawumia government is giving away this important asset for a paltry 125 million US dollars payable in yearly installments on a work and pay basis over the next 10 years. 2. Unfair monopoly and exclusivity. This opaque work and pay 5G agreement will ensure that 1. Next Gen Infraco would be the only company to offer wholesale 5G mobile data and voice services in the country for a period of 10 years. 2. All existing mobile network operators, MNOs, MTN, AT, Telecel, and internet service providers, ISPs, in the country cannot offer data and voice services to their numerous customers nationwide without passing through NetGen Infraco. 3. NetGen Infraco would control substantial 62.5% of every data/voice bundle package every mobile user buys, with only 7.5% going to government and 30% for mobile network operators and internet service providers. We hold a view that the monopoly and exclusive rights granted NextGen Infraco under this opaque deal is unfair to other industry players and unacceptable. 3. Absence of parliamentary approval. This 5G spectrum transaction awarded to NextGen Infraco Limited is a multi-year contract, hence subject to parliamentary approval per Section 33 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016 at 921. Unfortunately, the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government is almost concluding this deal at the blind side of Parliament. This renders the entire transaction unlawful, null, void, and of no legal effect whatsoever. 4. Some of the entities in the consortium, which are the beneficiaries of this opaque transaction, are mushroom entities owned by cronies of President Akufo-Addo and the Minister for Communication with questionable track record. As a matter of fact, some of these entities has been engaged by this same government in similar arrangements that has offered no value for money for the stake. 5. A regulatory framework and operational modalities and guidelines for this opaque arrangement have not been clearly defined by government Akufo-Addo Bawumia government, which appears to be in an indecent haste to give away the country's 5G spectrum for a pittance. 6. The investment of that this consortium is expected to make to justify their humongous 63% stake in Ghana's 5G network services revenue has also not been clearly defined. The NDC caucus in Parliament holds the view that at a time that the country is in dire need of foreign exchange and non-tax compliance, it is unconscionable that the Akufo-Addo government will hand over the precious and highly sought-after 5G spectrum of the country to a shell company for a pittance. Clearly, this deal for all intents and purposes is inimical to our national interest. The NDC Minority Caucus has therefore flagged this transaction for eagle-eye scrutiny. In the coming days, we shall be addressing the media and by extension, the Ghanaian people on these vexed matters and collaborate with our other stakeholders to ensure that our national interest is upheld. And Hazel Atoforsen, PhD, MP, Minority Leader. Right. Harrison Abba of the NDC Waha and a lawyer Apia Dankwa of the Movement for Change. And so Waha. Gilbert Romano of the MPP entrance. Harrison.
Over.
The minority air can you? What are your thoughts?
Over. I mean, you know, Konya is not mentioned when what here for. I was not mentioned me bra penny but and they are say of lawyer Akwaba. Samson Mechia, NDC National Youth Wing Secretary, Honorable Solomonia Futu. Yaminshan and Numa Power, Edia Boy Youth Wing, and Mabuno Majibre. Sebe, Omoya Jumadia Boy Youth Wing Secretariat, to no Chika Tanumo, Mandem, Jake, Obibia, Sebe Rasta, Obibia Watamenka, Lord, Derek, Numunina. Omoya Jumadia Boy, National Youth Wing Secretariat, Yami Enkosu, and Chiromonio Munuma Power, and their boy in this Yamonuku. Over answer na mebasa seven so no ma me for 2 minutes in class and 1 minute 30 seconds over bibi ekoso no sebe eya homete kakra eya asefem nso se unim okọ kaso a se unim opposite versus more area na ye friend SCC
yeah
SCC sa particular area no over unim si ECG for a doom light continuously wo anadu bia for about 2 weeks in here. Anadu bia over anadu bia ja de answer adenya sound offer no more doom light. Sa bia the next morning around 6 7 and say be my babe so anaju bia of anya say ye say dum so ho e na ebia e ban na china na agyan na akoba befoforo na ya dabi of a way the SEC ho de say timamufo no mote ho ni team ya they will testify to what I'm talking about. See anaju bia ECG, so we want to know what is going on. Of I know anaju omoma light off endra awiem around 11 Sunday 11 in the morning omama light off fast I feel no ma be so light no kura masa area SEC for now. And it's a question for another day. Basi say from no 11 basi by this time of light is still off at SEC. Now the SEC they offer ASFM. In the ECG for no so much here they should tell us what is happening. Omo e was your mo hwe na adwuma no so koye so mo hwe adwuma no ye ko kan timetable nsem so ofa de o mesa kire any 2 min nsem ne some sort of ayi ye beto ways bia ma ye in an arrogant way.
Awuro kakra da mu ni kasatentini.
Oh, over ya awuro kakra nsem ne ye kan wa.
You ma
over 2 weeks oh. 2 weeks and ECG you see over the most annoying we are customers. Over the most annoying part in the say ECG and cash. At least I was saying when you customers nyam some communication be. Say bibi nkoso we ya oh fa beto manim oh say ni na nya den enkoso. Ni so ya planning towards that.
Where there?
Plans inti na ye person information so no. Plans inti na nipa per time table enya hwe. Obi aduane she fridge mu obi be important because your cost when we say this is industrial area.
I guess so.
Enti ade omo ye is it fair? And the energy ministry is not saying anything. And if you said this, the minister or hwehwe ono wa jai energy ministry because say na ne abri running mate. Running mate no for hwehwe. Okwa kan no asa to ayam pia kyerew.
Afrabrando.
Say yen kan wa asem wa of mama
dem mo make bia no de kan yesiso aniama na yiko.
In fact,
o kan yesiso.
David,
Lawyer, o kan yesiso.
for 2 days on the trot. 2 days. Eja odi kweku na po anaso say.
We knew ni deal na po.
Very kweku kan anaso.
We dey friend running mate. Lawyer.
Osi fam timetable bra. Odi kweku na po anaso odi kwame na po anaso dey. Kofi na po. Osi me fam timetable me fam timetable nko ntino. 2 days straight offer.
Usu de sumu.
Me de sumu.
And the lawyer pa de o de sumu.
No
wants to do cases.
No respect of person. Almost me find time to bomb high. Internet at was.
The Uko be anaya mushisho.
Oh,
and no be dri and be kona na na ya ofie kan ya so. Na am say minim na me dru na nkofo ya dum kan ya mebo dia. And dia aso.
And dia me ko kuma say me bana meeting I say o dem since Saturday. If me be na aso. Still
by then so
Debbie
you do mudum ni na no ma so ye aje ADAKABRI tell him that it is not only Accra alone Kasua every night 4 days now let's go of it is just a Kasua for so young quantity
and just your more cheap
eja SEC ni ntiatia mu no
but over I was on my timetable
dey
Yen fan plan yen ho.
I say for dia bra. On fan kwa ntina. I say for dia ko. You say me kwa me dia.
Na say we say yen fa timetable bra dia lawyer. We dey etina offer. Etina ye SEC fo nyina ye be kabum. Ni ay timetable. Ni ahwe da ye de be call to energy ministry. No o ma hwe ho aye ho adwuma ma ye. Yankasa ye ba be ye timetable. Ye be yen so na ye de akwa to energy ministry. Because I say we dey ntibia asamada. There was a time I do so ho. Obi to me your timetable. Obi the managing home. Even that one cry, you call the person incompetent.
Yeah.
Obi a wama timetable cry no. Oh friend incompetent. Called him so many names. So many demonstrations against the person. And then we do so about one person. Na ke wasu my timetable ni enfan planning offer wo my yes I could be so say yanka say timetable offer no problem yate. Etina SEC fo nyina be meeting ye timetable ya den out to paper so na da ye de be go finance ministry of fire be mama so ate no matter yanka ye the finance ministry no ma we time because master we can't take it anymore it is becoming too much agro na too much
ave mi enhwe de wo hoy 5G network minority for say omonti omo ase
offer eba me phone so ya na ma won say wo so kankan nti wo kan na me follow the same story ewa ha na jere say wo kan na me di wachi anisa na fa wo hwe nsem na minority atrotra eyade a sebe national concern eyade a sebe se no sebe ebe ha adwen papa offer ebe ha adwen pa in a way say this particular government is this particular MPP government sorry to say they are full of lawless Democrats. MPP government has proven beyond reasonable doubt in all their dealings say omo ye lawless Democrats from Mranya. And Kenya sa offer. There are so many deals out. This is not the first deal and the parliamentary approval in this government. And now call parliament for scrutiny. Offer when you're the first deal. There have been so many deals. You bet me about deal upon deals. And now ya manasu as you expose the reports and about shows see that even that deal Kurano didn't even go to parliament for scrutiny and its approval. Of anti-ban MPP amambo dia say omunfa emra enya adwuma say Ghana adane send your friend sorry to say adane sabi soja mambo kura ye sene Ghana mambo ye ko so democracy ye tim sesia omomati the story of Iniami they will testify say it was better than this one the year family sesia say deal to me ko ade enko parliamentarians omo represent ye anka asem bank on bedwendwen ye de asem betu omani no mo so makoka bia ma and then ye be ye deal wo krom ha anase ye be sensan contract ye nhwehwe omo atire kwan kura ye bibia presidency ye wia ministry ho na fe de bibia twatwa the only thing obete say bia na obi akoyi minority asutire na fe de mo release president and this is where this have been happening every single day offer and you know the most saddest part of the whole issue you know say obi anka ho asem obi adwen say a normal MPP NDC battle into ba and tuma mo no my argument na asa but you have forgotten say offer yenko rada achi ene edidi agro offer Ghana da achi ene yeto na pampan so te say the way yeto banche wo malamata dum offer anka this particular deal o share ade minority actually when you look at a particular paragraph of the statement aba offer ube hu say sika bi wo ho anka e wo se ye den yenya ana the value for money no I wo ho no amount na ye ton that particular spectrum no e too so sini sika na anka e wo se ye den sika anka wo se yenya na kire say corruption has taken place in there na kire say there is some sort of conflict interest send your friend kra conflict of interest be a den e wo ho offer na tere o hwe the way a contract no minority as a trotro wa hana e kire clear say even company no kura sabe ye tons ha de no de yama no ye ti ye nche bia offer offer this is not the first time you remember the case of PDS now PDS okura kuo no omuntimi emiti some of the contract ayi guarantees no e was a compulsory na yes sign for mom and this have been happening this is not the first time the case of PDS and nani ya sa SML IUS abaye no so the same thing now and then we are and then yasa bedua ne 5G so and they are stealing this one from us again offer and with all this deal no and call parliament for parliamentary approval that is the saddest thing about it all. And of our we think say it is a normal MPP NDC politics and nobody is talking. The only thing is we will only see a minority coming out to scream. So munya we penetrate we be almost ma hondi be sine na sinade na kire say no ano no e na semoko. You were in this country ena kuo kakra bi busuan kuo bi eka bo mu ye baako ebeji ye nyana mu kanea eye ECG company o mu manage ye electricity ebo so sika wo ho nyina o mafa ni nyina besi na ye nya hwehwe mu papa bia ofani ete hu ni ese obi enkasa akọ parliamento obi embisa ho hwe. And then we are here. If you just look at the statement released by the minority, look at the amount of money Asebi anke wosi yenya ewo contract mu sanke ton bon papa so a anka sika wosi yenya no over 400 million to 500 million US dollars anke betimi aboa aye developmental project be bre wo krom ha nda ha shi papa yi ebetimi aboa si schools ade free education nko yi amanfo nya baby ntina ebetimi aboa aye tables free education ya ba amanfo nya baby ntina even aduane aye di feed schools no kra nya bi feed na feed yesa ye corruption in contract signing yesa pid abusuakuo bi no mate omo ho within few days no ma dani company no ma beje bibia fasa kwa ni asama omo mra e wo so omu tua na sika no omu tua na emu sua no omu sa tua na yearly se wenya nkrono nsema ofa ehedien ye yenso no transparency yanhye da amfan to bedwa mu say oh ye ton bibi say na companies omo work capacity ne be tender for that particular contract so they can go through a competitive tendering process. Now say company or capacity need to handle this particular project. Ni sika na obetimi atono atwa magana nya ho mfa so ofa. Sanyo ma we nyina yenhwe ho. Na ehia ene say amanfo be kata so mamwaso. No makwakwo hu minister no. No makwo hu omo amowo presidency. No ma ye boko no ma nya sansan bibia enko parliament. Enko parliament offer and you know say Mumfa contract ana mumfa ade ayeta tonton wo Ghana ha enko parliament for parliamentary approval no is against the constitution of Ghana. Of ay ade ekunti amra. Ndi obi bia wo ye bibia ekunti amra no shouldn't forget see one day the day of accountability beba da ye be freo. Si brabe yi ho ano no e wo kurum ha eba. And that is why I'm telling the listeners today, see, we shouldn't even try to give a third term to Akufo-Addo through Bawumia. And that will be the wickedest thing ever Ghanaians will ever do. Say, ye mistake now. You better plunge you into something we have never and ever thought about or dreamed of. And we should be very careful. Just look at the way this contract is being signed. What means where a clear case of loot, create and share loot. Can I Japan kai of our own kind? Was it the way the MPP is looting this country? One guy still crowd they say and get to more. Still the 1 city 20 Ghana na the idea. Was it the way the MPP is looting this country like there is no tomorrow? And this is a clear example of what the Kenya Japan said. This is a clear example of what Honorable Kenya Japan said. And on 19, and Brana Baba Ghana card Kenya Japan on how the contract have been bloated. Now ye peja sika no so se ebinu benya ho mfa so nti. And look at today we are here again. 5G ayanka ye beton anya ho mfa so no offer. We are here again and I'm telling Ghanaians the only way we can stop this corrupt, incompetent Nana-Addo Bawumia government is to vote them out on December 7th. Offer ye any option bia. We don't have any option because for a government to sign deals without parliamentary approval, this is too serious. This is too serious.
Ma afranto man, ba ya pe dan kwamre mo bie. Ba ya.
Over we dey ma menche obi. Say na ye di dum so ho abobo ne ai na menche me ya. Mo say oyo fire pa. O say ma yen MPNDC. Am I in MPNDC?
Dabi. I am most atami the conversation you do MPNDC pena I no masha.
Exactly. Enti na mo ya oral and chamatero. Causing the rising up again of the black star of Africa, which is Ghana. Really Minya come in Yamame. Mincha it so. Now, and I'm saying the oral lunch man, Kufuria. Friends, Wakoneto, market, the great transformational planner, leading to the overall transformation of Ghana economy. No, now I bring about creative jobs and creative prosperity for the people of Ghana. I call granting radio interviews. I could share Kufuria Technical University for and some of can say we share the so-called great nations for now, USA, Germany, Japan, Brazil, China, Korea, consider Singapore. There's one idea, one thread that running through, and that is the fact that they are also the most industrialized nations, and economies are mature and robust because of policies are governments the use of governments fiscal policy and more monetary policy to aid private sector to lead our industrialization charge any rural motivation to see similar transformation in Ghana and to do that they try to say you build a Ghana of one people it should be won't be looked at from partisan side as a and be depending on maybe a particular say I quite say 1 week one scandal but who shares our 5G issue here essentially are buying some private companies I think 6 or 7 companies about to go for me company that's the next gen incorporated
next gen
infraco and now almost rolling out a 5G now I'm just say on partnership is another the PPP Act private public partnership act because the answer me besides that question is the legal basis of that company now then it would guide you in the kind of questions you must ask because if there's one big issue with Aban where a lack of respect or regard for due process. Some due process you name say whether or not one in granting or more next gen for that license to roll out 5G exclusively whether for procurement processes whether other companies it's me tender whether or not a parliamentary approval whether all the processes are to ensure, say, at the end of the day, the principle of fairness, the principle of value for money, and the reduction of corruption, can be instances of corruption can be fulfilled because that's the whole idea of due process. Tell friends saying we are buying the but want me so to buy yourself, and because we made the contract, we need ADAKABRI. The process is to limit as much as possible that arbitrariness because I can say we are under a constitutional democracy and one of the key focus are there say preventing public officials from at the whim taking decisions and awarding contracts and say what procurement act and say what PPP act and I'm sure all these acts are in my mind will govern a transaction of this nature now. Only the due process at all. Cabinet approval, parliamentary approval, consideration by if a PPP now, friends saying PPP committee, whether or not all these procedures have been fulfilled. So there are questions we should be asking, and then you say because at the end of the day, beyond me for me, in my opinion. Infrastructure development, a matter of course when it comes to who lead there. But what is most critical, say, Ubema leadership, I best say bar, I best say standards. We are friends, but Taintia, you found to ourselves a system of governance, and say, principles that eschew conflict of interest and all those things. So for me, and I agree with Minya, say. It shouldn't just be the minority who are asking questions. Yeah. It should be all Ghanaians because say what kind your constitution be man? one beyond so say a duty to defend your constitution, and it's also a constitution imperative, you know, your forces will be coup d'etat keke. But a duty say you be defend the objectives of your constitution, the purpose of your constitution. What kind directive principle of state policy portion of your constitution? What you say? You believe say your constitution based on boy ma achieve some a certain political end. But boy, and that political end is a truly decentralized system, which will ultimately lead to a fulfillment of what is true democracy. And true democracy is not just say but you can say the difference say government of the people, government by the people, and government for the people. Now, yes, our economic objective. As an economic objective, we say you create the enabling environment about private sector are thriving. Because then you say in some mature economies, say private sector is creating juma. Private sector is creating wealth. So private sector is stronger. Then all the issues are affecting the economy will be solved in terms of revenue generation by government, about creation of jobs, and creating real prosperity. Social objectives in Jan. And those things can be achieved if you follow Mbrana, which seeks to limit our executive using the powers ultimately for the benefit of Ghanaians to facilitate our achievement of objects under the directive principles of state policy. Inti the member minority in Abaso. Not to say I agree with them entirely, but like I'm saying, you have the right questions. If due process has been followed, and if due process has not been followed, then it is for me, as whether I just say you vote against Bamiani voting man Emma Bamiani, and not just because of this, and not just because of some next gen issue. In my view, there are so many questions that they need to answer in terms of whether or not they followed due process. But say yen tomorrow lunch matina yen dog yen pame Bamiadi, and yet because of recent year. Oche the ACC now, Oche the state of your economy, Oche lack of regard for the ethics of leadership. Oche a friend saying a bright champion issue say. The fact say under Omo watch, under another Bamia watch. Omo NTSS so you're a public officer. There's a public trust that is created on you. And under no circumstances should you be buying public property. Oche the way are depraved leadership across the country. It's the CRS system. It's your toa. Obi movie. So there's a serious fundamental wrong. The system clearly no. Oman be solve, but what Oman make a situation even worse. How can you justify the Uber spending 2 billion on NAPCO and 400 million on 1D1F? That clearly only commitment in solving the real problems be deviled with. So for me, like I'm saying, there are more questions that needs to be asked. But as to say, I just say Pame Baumia, Nina Nadomo, ne more real and Chamantibe Ebeyo Mampini. I think say ya pass as our stage and the ACC was our 1 week, one scandal It just reinforces the NTR. We need to make that radical change. And that radical change is not just about say yeah Pame Baumia. But that radical change indeed means say you more real and Chamanti Abelidie. Not a phenomenal program, great transformational plan. And in the commitment to lead the transformation of Ghana will show throughout his career. Offer and protect.
At the end, also I was South Africa.
Why not? Because South Africa case and South Africa isn't the first time. In fact, America say Yankai say Republican Party and Donald Trump a lead, The fair not anyhow. Not Abraham Lincoln, no. I think the Whig Party. We are very comfortable. We Democrats. We are very comfortable. No we doing paper so bia na it say I'm for chum say they are more business, And America for. And Abraham Lincoln in Crophobi etom free Whig Party anymore. I could say the Republican Party. Lose some first election, but just the second election, Abraham Lincoln the president of America. From America president until about the Second World War, more than 70% of election with America. That party na win here. It's the issue of South Africa. and that's the first time. But if it reinforces the belief, say citizens no you believe in democracy, because of some butaibi. That butaino is beyond more protecting your family. But that system ought to lead ultimately to what criticism be and make friends saying me purpose in life. Make me pursue no seamlessly. But in baby now, so munya to me now. Yeah, you almost say, oh, you put my idea piano. I'm not my and ANC in less than a generation. Obu was 80 me every and saying about 80% to 40%.
40.
So Ghana ever at the same stages here. Ghana was and share a need amount for me go Kumasi over the weekend. Now many MPP pay for me that that's why MPP in Mimbo Mudias I'll be unfair to them. But we take conversations at El Kosuna. Ghana do some stage now this South Africa no. If you see a year because right now in Colombia in Colombia 1 year 50 years and under no. We need to enamored by some MPP name NDC no. And then any football match. And you got to Olympics. And it has. I mean, Mokotoko has I mean, let me Mokotoko and but I mean to be free Kotoko. But then I grow a football. But about politics, a business, a serious business, because ultimately in the politics, no, a leader to choose leaders. Leaders are just a multi-creative system. Your purpose in life, you for fully. Now, move now grow, not they be not saying okay, Riley. Move this, nothing gets done. Things are even getting worse. And things are more for Thomas because I'm going to move so yeah. That's like I'm talking about for now. The MPP coming from, and it looks like the NDC coming from. Into your MPP coming from, I say you said the Minia solo kind. That's who people can do fladdy air constitution. They be exposing and forgive my language. Your foolishness, the foolishness in this country.
Excuse your French.
Oh, because I quite say leaders know a failure. They make almost to me, not because on person will lead you, not because on somebody transformation, but I can't hear regular position. Almost to me because of among some interest. Maybe I'm for the bit of more 19 and I cast 1,000. Omanya girls every Debbie. That is not the purpose of leadership. And Ghana for Sebio Geniati, and also they see what South Africa, ABC, Benin, so many times. They see what America, they see what France. I feel a BBC what Ghana say. I feel that alliance for revolutionary change. I say, we share the message of be a kind. Yeah, message and it is a number one. Clear message. Say the transformation. You be creative system a be united Ghana for you na. You be creative system as our winner takes all no. Point here because you be share private sector kena. I'm in Juma ebu. I'm a real prosperity happen. And in as I say Kenya war great transformational plan me between now and December. You be church remove out inside. I'm say what for the year okay then on sense what can you as if only they be well educated amount for about Greek industry. Oh, and it's a fairness a friend saying a keen respect for the ethics of leadership no. A be clear ewo under Ora Alan John Kojo Chairman. I want to check contrast on a whim. This is an amount for chat office no. Yembe ton buying properties. Of course, MPP for and for you no more fighting over cantonments in Laboni properties. The question I keep on asking, I don't know cantonments in Laboni because of the layout, because of the greenery. I didn't start to know find creativity. Because I buy who was out to make creativity. Young creativity, awoshi. Young creativity, alajo. No more buying properties. That kind of leadership now, it needs to stop now. And it will stop when we vote for Ora Alan John Kojo Chairman.
Now, vote. Comment, Harrison.
Of us, I will share a minority debate out now. Where we share number 2. So, my number no. Individual number 2 unfair monopoly and exclusivity. Where no. I know a whole cry who's in Bibia. In a way, say, oh, the way almost a system now. na chere say data services ne voice services na MTN Telecel ni Tigo na ade provided the maye no cannot provide it to us if not through this particular company.
So I'm a building infrastructure no.
Ofa na chere say enye sika ba na company no ba beye from this deal. Ana ne yesa ton sika bebrebe ya company ba beye o ne ye ton ayi ama omo 125 million. Ade anka
10 years ne betua.
10 years in o side 10 years ne betua sa 125 million. Ade anka ye betimi aton no because we share number 1 we almost lack of value for money. Ade anka betimi aton from $400 million to 500. Anka betimi aboa amayanya sika de anyoma bebere okroma. Nti of our ways are NCC clear. Ene na nchen. Enam se ye krono nsem nti ana ye krono ade nti ofa. Yamfa nko parliament nye de ehwe mumpo. Yamfa nko parliament nhwe mumpo. And this should be a worry to everybody in Ghana. E was se be e ade a obi aka ho asem. E was se asofo sorry. E was se omo se be omo ye sane efre no. Neutral sa omo nka party bia ho a omo kasa omo no durudwom e kasa by this time. These are where we need them. So if you are not talking and you want us to make it a normal MPP NDC thing, it will go back and come and hurt us. And a lawyer can, and then you should turn Accra Afladi. Ebi asam penny for na nchi omubusia bia. And then Ghana is your fire. A man for bet me for plane Africa eko group for so. What about you? What about you and I? And this is why we need to talk. When thing I was say Yakasa, we need to call the government out and tell them what you are doing is wrong. A contract like this, a huge contract like this, that will go a long way to have an impact, either negative or positive on us. Now, call parliament for parliamentary approval. Call parliament offer for parliamentary approval, and we are sitting there and we are okay, and we think everything is just about the MPP and normal NDC ranting. And the offer, yanim no kwano.
Voter transfer so near way once again. Voter transfer. And also something near way once again.
And yes, I can say offer. Oh, you talk about the desperation. On to me no, and they don't mind to kill, to maim for sad to me no. Offer omunye juma. Omunye juma. Into no agenda because if what agenda pa ye. So believing in system I put in place. I don't know Kuntoka. If I then knows ideas now you compare to me not to me as it's your mind. That's a because of like me canon. Omo the place card to in 9p and the cars any girl and happen. I buy the Ukrainian and omodi.
Lawyer.
And no kana omodi na jena omodi 2 minutes. Ome boa. Na jena omodi 2 minutes.
No kure no aka.
They don't work. They don't work. And I'm saying, for some say, MPP NDC. They don't work.
MPP NDC.
Oh, they don't work. To say, a friend saying, Okomokola, and the same Okomokola, a John Foreman. Incrophobia, say, Omuye GTP. I could fast and 2x4 police phobia. I'm going to see a man into my own. I'm going to see a man into my. I'm telling you, and this has been going for a long time. Amuko bisa police penyin say on country obian so obian kwesa. But beyond that, yen him say who answer obian job property. This is all the order of the court.
This is all order of the court.
Oh, but you know what was yakwe lawless country is a jungle no. Yakwe is a jungle no because someone yamo I won't can say banana republic. Because someone yamo to me no. They don't want to lead. And from ho into what's the kind because here to me no. On 2 million na or the pair girls and I'm just saying minister honorable and girls but now also we are Ghana they are that perennial flooding issue here are they working
no
also the way are
nothing is working
private sector is almost dying was also a buying and yusu omba be na ya talk yakoto Range Rover ya so me Range Rover Land Cruisers and a workshop we say but plans on use your tax no a build private sector no they don't do it they don't work because they don't work they don't pay 2 million because some yejuma but they don't pay 2 million because of pay cars 10, or pay 920, or pay girls more. Oh, or pay girls, some of the pay ma, 2 million, some of the pay ma. Because of that, you know, any day, but what's the kind? But if that idea, because you and Ghana say, you are Ghana, I say, so open say, we are genuine leader, you want to super. In the year come for, will be struggling to get because if almost focus is to really work, and your idea is attractive. I won't lie to you. The way I just say your mind, do know. The way man I say, do know. And so if I'm focus, to work pa. Nka omun wo mo sikan but omun so meye adwuma o hwe I'll come and protect the public purse. I'll come and protect the public purse. I'll give you value for money. So no happen na we be public purse na jar and I go for area. Oh no it's serious. I'll give you an African beyond aid. But when the policies near the year consume more. Oh, and now almost show my account and I'm for this guy share pass dollar session pass more than $1 million. Yes, and it there on a kind say under President Kufuor $1 1 cedi. Under Mills Mahama $1 2 cedi. So he would have thought say Mills Mahama will resign by the envelope, the first envelope under the table. On Abano, a free for and 15 to 16. Oh, so a principal nankawa resigning. But all resigning because someone put me no that is opema okopra obano. His focus was the envelope under the table ni bi. Ni focus here cars akese ni ndan akese ni snake omeshama friends among for toss snake ato hotels enya dia ato no fofo ni focus my company quick no more omo enya sa five cook deals cook deals ni focus ni say airport on no obebi say company be edge covid we say obi na pa omo de call here the focus say if ECG omo tom omo PDS have we even thought about a few years now omo the PDS no because omo nya here but any omo focus offer any omo focus it's because any omo focus omo nzo meye adwuma bia no na nka u person adwuma na policy about transform your mind say 1D1F why would you put just 400 million there Ghana cedis there only commitment to bring about any transformation omo nyina into what's the kind because ono I guess no here and say your transformation. Exactly. Gas or dey home na me minister na me president or di benya no. Obet na private jets mu edware wo mu no. Ehu here and say edwuma na obeye into me what's the kind what's the kind for friend saying activity enhance your democracy no. But their focus is not to work. Their focus is not to work. It's that kind of for no you may break. Near problem when you one person you do or more under their watch, you may put in place a policy that Emma flood and see every time you are in Subato.
Only an can be quite unfortunate. A NPP candidate named Bibi Sankana Kakra. I feel now MPP in Nabidu as a Gilbert Yemo Transit.
President of Ghana.
Of Amajoso.
No, I didn't count say,
Wafa.
We do more can
you be doing come wait. And young can no moment.
Nanka Mramono. And say ye voter transfer. Na political parties, observers, agents, so much. And is in ye nagin senka or per transparency be amana manifest. In Yama political party agents as one call. Notwithstanding, no more air cost recruiting second once again. And I east and say Apedia Debbie Yinyai. And no master rate at the same point. Abromco emergency IPAC meeting. What are your thoughts?
Wafa. Edi kan ma memfa asedamo twede amponya kopon. Se ene ye hye na watwe foforo asi na me so meka ho. Na memfa nchi akese enso ma ye Dr. Tando o Gempa. Ene ye maame Dr. Gina Teddy. Na minchia me mate for wo Gempa nyina wafa. Pokwase market chairman Mr. Adom Echiao. Na me fancha kesi enso ma me landlord elder me fancha kesi am fama me landlord elder me no ka say we biem kuha wa Accra Central say one ne dwadufo ne omo ne omo di dwa nyina no etie enti Mr. Dakwa baby a wo bia no me di nchi akese ma wo ofa me wie ni saa na mekwa asem ne so a me de me susuye mu no me free say sa registration some transfer and all this a free baby and aba drew her. Of course I admit say emre bi atwam no na sa anyamai ekokoko so wo other stations but ofa de bia me ka say asem we mi njai kan and I'll continue on saying this say elections ofa me no nyina agitum say a process and your free baby and son ya ba bedru polling station atwaba enunti emre bi atwamu enche bia no MPP ye call elections ye papa Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo eduntwo entwo die mu no wante ase na ode call court enti ode asem ne call court no nanka it was a nice opportunity for otembuani no anase ye papa Justice William Atuguba say anka errors are na ewo mu no obeboa ma sa errors ni nyina yeden ya correct ofasa obeka ya men kai kura no me kai finger of God polling station na voter turnout was more than the number of voters on the register but ya papa na mwa ama finally na se mo kan ya a free samre ni besin de bia me kai sa asem na me yam hyehyeme say elections are won at the polling station o hwe de akokoko so ya sa asem no ejinja nkrofo bia e besin de no omo free say if elections are won at the polling stations there and they your pay na se processes in start here ye de true trustem any kwan bia e be fa so a ye di be win elections no e wo polling station ho no ye be fa so and into washa a free say processes is start here no a free say processes start here registration transfer of vote and all this start here no you know no NDC for 9 washa omo target MPP electoral strongholds say you dey to trust them beko then na turning nkolane out say omumra mede em register kra and for me yasema hadwen a I will say ye nyina yeka and I always say that decision by the electoral commission in the first place in a way no feel say nko yama prepare your aba but no nka hu hia because over would the elections are sheminsa say me run elections enti say me ye wie na me bu akonta kire na say wo so wo any other viewer obetimi ayeden edu a share view than say let political parties edu om hu bajim ni oyene aba ne huntwi ni ade eno nene akwa aba besin nei of crime is a crime yeni MPP crime and yeni NDC crime onipa biara obe engage in sa tutrasem ne basabasa yo ewo registration centers ne sa wofa ye radam pare so wutie ya yesrew yenim so obetimi aye obiara obeye sa de ne biara yemfa no na yenya asomdwe wo mamu ha
okay
wofa tutrasem ene dede yo no enya no neto aba de bia meka if you have a message go to the people and sell your message to them eno neto aba na ye nuanom no njai tutrasem no mde si omani so se abibia no ye be registration a tutrasem ne basabasa yo nko a mde wo mutrim no ko
okay.
Na ko sua se 1 + 1 ye 2 udi 2 ka 2 hu a 4 Oko na se anye ye na se wo any other viewer wo evidence to show say me kika me mabo mu no menya 4 menya 3 enya se ebeduru ho ebewie na ebusa se wonya san ya o se media menim dabi etutra se mo nto aba
all right
na me fa sa akonya menya babu ni me fa sa akonya so metu mabunu na wo Ghana nyina afo se wo fa dwene wo da che ho first
okay
ansa na wa mo bia be fa se kokoye tutra se at the end of the day saa nipa no oba no nya de opa ema ofio opekura na ofo na ofa nti yemfa ntu ye hofo obi biara oba engage in etutura sem wofa a police for mfa no
right
na yenya asomdwe
ye de wase say o de baaye edi lawyer mfa nchen abofo apa ho kra in 30 seconds final comment
see me fan me first one message that be aye wono say bibia ye duru nya ba MPNDC na omo transform my any political parties omo transform my great leaders fortunately yankopa am is one great than be e wo yema or the Roland Jongo Chimanten yankoto yabama no don transform Ghana
right minia Harrison final comment
over the member can say was it easy Emma ho kwan na agency ngina ho because that is the only way to stop election gerrymandering. Say agent ni nyina ho a ye be yan hu si obi a wo transfer na de aba ha no wonte ha ana say wantena have to that required time I was say what he had not qualified to transfer the vote to that particular station.
Okay.
And Emma transparency enye den enye adwuma. And e ba na sa nyom pe no be de was we na say enyoma ekoso a Emma tutu asem na ba no osi ano kwan. So you must provide security. This is very simple.
All right. Yam fast da in 10 seconds Gilbert.
Ofa. The American kwa kusia ne say ye papa Dr. Mahmoud Baumia ye danase na debia meka se wo hwe na wo keka o de ahye sa elections mu a enye to trasem na be ma na wini the message any send ya wa ba form e konkrofo no Ofa sa wo hwe voter region bibi besi bibi su ba besi
right and yam fast da Mfama Gilbert Omane of the MPP yam fast da Mfama Apia Dankwa of the Movement for Change Ambassador Harrison Abba of the National Democratic Congress. But for now, dear, DJ Foreigner, one Olakoku Michael, Omana Diebe Kufi, Nomadi Abako Jojo. If I may, ADAKABRI Mahmoud Osioma, and you go dame, and a quick free, and a demisia bontim. I've not free my bank running and I suffer, and I'm so no, almost share social media handles in a MIA. So, Foreigner, take over from us.